can't hear you. I see you talking, but I can't hear you. Volume's up.
It's not you, it's me.
There you go.
I forgot to reset my mic. Sorry, guys, I'm choking myself on coffee.
You're dying, man.
Anyway, welcome everybody to the Centralist. I hope you're having a good time. And that's Jason coming back with us now. We got him there. Well, there he is. We got him back now.
And, I can actually hear you now.
Yeah, it was my fault, not yours. It was mine. When Michael came, he couldn't hear me either. And I realized I had reset my mic, so it was muted. It mutes itself automatically when you reset it. It's a little touchy like that. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about some news. We're going to get into some real news. But then later in the show, we're going to get into some conspiracy theories. But in between that, we're going to be talking about different areas of the country because, I live in Mississippi and Louisiana, and I'm in Alabama and Florida all the time. Jason's a Texas boy. Michael's a New Yorker. He's a Narca. He's actually a northern Narca at the moment, but he's a Narca.
Not for long.
Not for long. He's like the rest of the Narcas. We're abandoning the state at the moment. But, I was talking with a friend of mine, Jacqueline, the other day, and she lives in New York. She actually lives in Brooklyn. She says, Joe, I love this town, but I can't stand this town. I'm like, whoa, wait. You love this town, but you can't stand this town. She said, well, and she starts going into this long 30-minute spew about why she hates it. I said, look, any big city that you go to that's a blue city is going to be the exact same thing. It doesn't matter if it's Chicago, Los Angeles, even New Orleans. It's going to be the same shit. I said, if you want to break that, I said, I can tell you one blue city that is different, and I'm sure Jason would attest to this. It's Austin. Austin may be a blue city, but Austin, it really has its shit together for the most part. It's clean, it's efficient, it's fun. It caters to all ages and groups and crowds. So I don't know. It's not a bad place. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Houston. I like Dallas. Houston's becoming kind of a sprawling, how can I say this politely, mess. But,
it's always been a sprawling mess. Now it's like the suburbs.
It's a super mess.
I mean, in like the last 20 years or so, it's like there used to be like a good 5-10 miles of open highway between, all the little towns that are a few miles away from each other up around Houston. But now it's all just indistinguishable from Houston. I mean, it's all one giant concrete pad.
Yeah, sprawl, man, sprawl.
No, man, it's like Houston is one of those places that if you do not have a car that's capable of doing 95, 100 on loop 610, then you're just kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah. Get a motorcycle. Wow, a little Kawasaki Ninja action, man.
Well, but I mean, Jason, y'all full open now, right? I mean, y'all wide open over there.
Man, we basically got rid of all the restrictions. I mean, a lot of businesses still have the, mask required to enter this place. But I mean, it's not like nobody ever really enforced that at all. Anyway, the closest we ever had to that was we had our little small town chief of police who actually got run off over some small town drama, but I won't go into that right now.
I can imagine.
Well, I actually started to like this guy. I mean, he would make a public show of support, standing there in the Family Dollar, which is the only thing in this little hick 400 and something person town. He'd stand there and just, try to explain it to everybody, let himself be seen in a mask. But his hands were basically tied. All he could do was ask. He couldn't enforce anything. And it was that way the whole time. Especially around here, it's like I'm in like the lowest population density of all. It's like if you start going into the towns with about 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people, you pretty much see most people wearing a mask to enter a business. There's only like that guy, every now and then. Out here in the country, I mean, it was always pretty much about 50-50. Because you can't tell none of us, corn-fed country boys what to do with our freedoms and shit. I mean,
okay.
Look, and let me get on this whole like California exodus and everybody's moving to Texas and all these southern states, man. It's like you see these hicks out here with their chips on their shoulders and their "Don't California my Texas" bumper sticker on the back of the pickup truck, right?
I'm sorry.
You'll see one or two a day out here in the country. I'm not shitting you. Quite honestly, I would rather talk to that fucking SpaceX engineer who moved down here to put rockets into space from my home state that I love than some dumb hick who thinks being from some white trash trailer park makes him better than somebody. You know.
To say what kind of weirdness is going on out there.
Well, it's their own
good,
insecurities, isn't it? Like insecurity rules a lot of people, man. So that's that whole they don't have shit, so they have to say I don't give a shit, but they really do give a shit, you know? Because if they had shit, then they'd realize shit, right?
Man, they're basically people on the bottom of society that are trying to make themselves feel better by trying to find somebody better off than them and basing all of their problems on that. Man, you know how it is. All kinds of isms involved in that shit.
Yep.
Y'all just confused me there. I must have lost track of conversation somewhere.
Because he lost his shit.
It's, so you know, well, I mean, you know, I listen. Sometimes I'll catch in two idiots. Well, it used to be two idiots, Walton and Johnson. Now it's just what is it? Walton and Johnson's there. Anyway, one of them's dead, one's still alive. I got some new host Kenny, but I can't really listen to them live because they're a little. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Every now and then I'll hear these bastards come in and they'll be talking Texas this, Texas that, Texas. But they talk a lot of Louisiana stuff because they used to be down here. And it's weird when you listen to them talk. It's like a whole different world. I said, man, I've been in Texas. What the hell are you talking about? So if you're from the South, you know, we already knew that things weren't going to stay like this because we're just not going to tolerate it. We're not, you know, for the most part. And Jason's right. You got to watch the rednecks because they don't want anybody down here. And Alabama's got its own really secret industry. It likes to keep it that way. It don't want anybody else in there. Florida's kind of the same way. They don't mind you coming and visiting, but you know they want your ass to go home afterwards. Louisiana don't care. You can hang out there. They don't give a shit. Mississippi though, and Georgia, as long as you go to Atlanta, nobody's going to bother you. But you get out in the sticks, and Georgia's got quite a few car plants. And I didn't realize that when my mom was passing away and I was doing a drive back and forth. Kia's there, Toyota's there, Honda's there. There's like 11 of them. All spread out along the interstate. So, you know, I guess in those areas you'd be all right too. But I'd be careful. If you're coming from California, New Yorkers have a better way of handling themselves. And they might get a little bit more respect than the California people do. But Jason, I agree with you.
Well,
I would rather talk to an engineer than get anyway, go ahead.
Well, the thing about it is, it's like most people are not like that. But, you know, it's that one fucking guy that has to have a chip on his shoulder about everything that just kind of like ruins it for everybody. And chances are, if you are in Texas and you're from California and some Texan starts getting in your face, calling you some kind of liberal child, adrenochrome molester or some shit like that, I guarantee you there are 3 other Texans that are going to step in and be like, hey, back the fuck off. Leave him alone.
It's true too. They would. They'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing, dude?"
And I will be one of them if I catch any of that shit going down.
Oh, Chris, I'll be back on screen. You'll see me. I'm actually taking care of something for another host. But, it's Cali people drive me nuts. Don't get me wrong. I got a lot of friends in Cali, so I don't want to hate on all of them. But there seems to be a particular sect out there that I could do with never speaking to again. I have to be honest. Especially them San Francisco guys that think it's all right to just walk around the city taking a crap and a piss wherever you feel like that. I still cannot understand the logic to that. Somebody's got to explain it to me.
Because they're crazy.
But I mean, come on, it's unsanitary.
But they're crazy. They don't know about sanitary. They're crazy. When someone's crazy, they're crazy. If someone pulls their pants down and shits on the sidewalk, I automatically know something about them. I don't have to guess. You know what I mean? I don't invite them home. And I realize that one day they're going to ticking time bomb go off and then probably kill someone and themselves. You know, I mean, come on, man. I saw a woman at the subway station do it, pulled her pants down and took a piss right on the platform where people waiting to go to work. There was like such a surreal scene. And she's like some crazy crackhead, man, just like boom. But we automatically know that what's going on. But we're in a society where people like that get passed over. Like, you know, no one wants to do anything about them. We used to lock them in insane asylums. We don't do it anymore. You know, we want to treat them and have them walk around, even though, you know, most of them really can't take care of themselves. You know, so I don't know. There's so much to it, man. But we see our society crumbling, no matter who's in office, no matter what goes on, because that's the order of the day.
Viva la Trump.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm going to actually try to play devil's advocate for some dude who shits on the sidewalk. But I mean, Look, man, when you were down at that lower fucking level of society and you were basically like invisible to everything except for the cops whenever they get a mandate to come make you move somewhere else. I mean, where else you gonna shit? No business is gonna want some dirty ass bum coming in, taking a good 15 long minute shit in their bathroom, leaving and not buying anything. I mean,
They put
where are you
porta
gonna
potties,
shit when you're not
but
welcome to shit anywhere?
in San Francisco, they put porta potties all over
Yeah,
the
they
place.
did.
They tried
Not
to.
only did that, Jason, they put porta potties all over these ones that you can go in. They put somebody there and paid them. What was it? 69,000 a year to make sure they didn't stay more than 10 minutes.
But me personally, even if I'm in those dire straits, I'm gonna have enough fucking dignity to shit where somebody can't see me. You know,
Yeah, they didn't want them to, but at least be like a cat and go down to the beach and take a poop and cover it up with your foot. You know what I mean? Like something like something like that. Have some dignity. But
Oh,
like on the
man.
sidewalk,
All right, let's move on to another conversation. God.
well,
unless
there's actually a controversial bill like going through our legislature here in Texas, and it's like basically an anti-homeless bill, but it's got basically the entire camping and RV community pissed about it because look, all these hicks want to blame everything. Oh, look, there's homeless in Dallas and Houston and all them blue cities. There's homeless out here in the sticks too. I mean, don't pretend that there aren't. So to punish all them fucking liberal hippies in Austin and shit, and to make everything a pain in the ass for everybody else, they're passing a law that basically makes it illegal to sleep in your car overnight, more or less anywhere. I mean, there are a lot of like open public places in Texas where overlanders and RVers can, just pull down a dirt road and they're just open campsites, no
boondocking,
registration,
it's
nothing,
called boondocking, man,
Yeah,
boondocking.
boondockers, people like parking in Walmart parking lots,
Yeah.
pulling in, taking a nap at a rest area or something like that. That's now illegal
Well,
because they're trying to make it harder for the homeless just to find a place to sleep.
but Walmart encourages it, and they put electric and water out for people in some places, because they know those RVers are going to go in there and stock up. They're going to be shopping there all night long. It's kind of smart to do just for a couple pennies worth of electricity or some water.
Well,
So
I've kind of been following the RV community, and it's like, yeah, the Walmart in Boulder, Colorado, yeah, they're going to do that. But you
yeah,
go to that Walmart in the Fifth Ward in Houston, where you have people that have been displaced and are trying to live in their vans or RVs or cars because they have no other choice.
yeah,
And that's
sad, man.
basically what they're trying to stop. I mean,
People
they're
slip
talking.
people slip through the cracks, and then even if you have a good job, it takes a lot to get an apartment. You have to get first months, last months. You got to jump through a lot of fire hoops, man, and get set up. It's not that easy. And then COVID knocked people down. You have people a year behind when it comes to bills, rent, and all that stuff. And where's that money going to come from? I mean,
Yeah,
it's not going to come from. It comes from people's pockets.
yeah,
It's
then
just,
you're going to need deposits for gas. You're going to need deposits for electricity. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can't get in a place if you don't have a few grand sitting in your pocket,
well,
basically.
if you have bad credit, forget it, because then they're going to tack on all kinds of percentages and fees. For the same, just like car insurance, dude. If you have bad credit, they will charge you more for your car insurance. What does credit have to do with your driving record and just basically how you drive?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they
but that's a partial truth because if you pay it in full, they'll give you a big break. But if they gotta, string it out for 6 months, they want their little percentage. I agree. It
but
shouldn't have nothing to do with it.
what difference
I
does it
agree.
make?
I agree. It
So
shouldn't make a
so if
difference.
so if
I
you have
agree.
bad credit, it's okay for them to charge you more. But if you have good, so let's say I have good credit, but I'm a shit driver, but I'm going to pay less than a good driver with crap credit, man. Come on. So you know how you enslave a population with debt, and that's what goes on. It's all about the debt. Oh, buy a bunch of crap you don't need. Here's some credit cards. Charge everything up, man. Let's go crazy, right? And then you need a bigger house to keep more of your crap. You know what I mean? Buy more
I tell
crap,
y'all
get a
what,
bigger house.
anybody listening tonight, either come to the chat room and post what your current credit card debt is, or hit me in an email at iCarCox.net, or hit me on Facebook page.
Yeah,
I'll
man,
tell you.
it's
I'll
like,
tell you what
man,
mine is right now. I'm $23,500 in credit card debt.
it's like
Ooh.
Michael, dude. It's like you come to some of these country fried trailer parks down here, dude. You'll see somebody in like a leaning over, like wrecked out, built in 1960 something, single wide trailer that's absolutely falling apart. but that redneck is in debt up to his ass because he's got a $90,000 F-250 Platinum.
Damn, he does, baby.
You
He loves his truck.
know?
He loves his truck. I can't
Yep.
hate on. That's a nice truck, man. Come on. Yeah, that's nice. They're nice. Them Ford 250s are nice, especially if you get like the Harley Davidson or the King Ranch. Oh, you styling, baby.
You just ignited the redneck in Joe, man. Listen to him go, you know.
Yeah. That's
All
a
you
coon
gotta
ass
say
in me.
is some
Hey, that's a coon
F-250.
ass in me, minded, buddy. I'm the coon ass in me. Don't be using that redneck shit. Well, you know
Hell, we
what?
done talked about
Well, I'm
trucks.
in Mississippi tonight, so I guess we can use
You
it.
got the pickup truck with those testicles hanging from the back,
And
man.
actually, to be honest with you, I'm looking for a new pickup truck.
We gonna talk about guns next.
Uh-oh.
No,
I don't own no guns. I'm a liberal.
nah, Texas is about to become even more wild, wild west because I know it's already passed the House. I think it's probably passed. It should have passed the Texas Senate by now, but I haven't checked the news in a day or two. But Texas is about to become a no permit required, open constitutional carry state.
Don't worry, Jason. Mississippi already is. But you know what's better? You're gonna be moving to Louisiana anyway soon. They're getting ready to make recreational marijuana legal.
They already
Yeah,
did that in New
Texas will
York.
be the last place to do that.
You know what? They did it in New York. And
Yeah,
they
Texas will. You're right.
They did it in New York, and they're not giving anybody. It's going to be 2 years from now until you can actually go and buy it. So they're just basically encouraging illegal sales, right? Because you're saying, oh, you can smoke it, but you can't buy it anywhere. It's like that's so New York, man. That is so New York. You know?
If it ever happens in Texas, some senator's fucking brother-in-law will basically get all of the permit to grow all of the weed.
Basically.
Oh, you know, it's interesting you said that because I was listening to one of the Mississippi talk radio shows yesterday. Now, Mississippi's barely passing medical marijuana. They are going to get medical marijuana, though, which is amazing to me that any red state like this is getting marijuana. But it's definitely getting medical marijuana, and not just that fluffy kind of kind. You get stomach aches and all that shit. The cops are going crazy about it. Already. Some big company from up north, I think from Colorado's coming down here, bought up something like 25,000 acres and going to start. Well, I'm like, wait, what about us? You know, my business partner owns 20 acres in a kill. 20 acres of marijuana is a lot of money, man. I mean,
Well, if you know how to grow it,
profit.
and you got to keep people from stealing it. There's a whole bunch of things goes on with some
No.
growers.
That's you thinking about living in New York or Cali. Ain't nobody stealing shit and killing.
Yeah, nobody ever
Mississippi.
steals anything in New Orleans.
No, that's not what I'm saying. This is killing Mississippi, and they ain't coming in your yard because they know if they come in your yard, you're gonna shoot them, and you can legally shoot them in this state for coming in your yard. I'm telling you, they ain't.
Now
Joe's
Joe's really fired up. Pick up trucks,
man,
shooting some weed people.
See, you live up there in blue.
Let's talk about the sodomy laws for a minute. what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for some ass?
I hate to say this, but
Mississippi.
they ain't never get rid of. Mississippi don't have a sodomy law, but Louisiana does.
Yeah, Louisiana. Ooh.
Yeah, man, a lot of it.
How can you have a sodomy law with the largest gay population in the country currently, but you still got a sodomy? I don't know how that works.
That's why, because they hate
get
to.
the hell out of here, man. That's just stupidity on somebody's part. I mean,
sodomy is also oral, man. It's not just.
Well, yeah, I know, but either way, they don't care. That's I told her, I shouldn't say this in here, but I told a friend of mine that was a mayor down here. We were talking, and I said, "Y'all can't get that off the blue books." And he said, "Well," I said, "Don't tell me these politicians don't go out to Airline Highway and get a blowjob from these hookers because y'all get caught from time to time, just like the preachers do." And he's like, "Yeah, but we ain't gonna change the law, Joe." He said, "We ain't gonna fight with the churches if they donate too much money to the campaign."
Because it's the church people that are using the hookers.
Yeah, but they're the ones paying the politicians, so they're not getting rid of them. They're like, oh no, I will tell you this. New Orleans, of all places, is considering legalizing prostitution. So they're legalizing marijuana and prostitution. We just gonna be like out there in Vegas now, man. Lord.
Look,
it will
man,
be Sin
I'm
City
all
again.
for that. I'm like your classic fucking civil libertarian. You know, it's like do what you want, just don't hurt anybody else while you're doing it,
That's
and
right.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, just go like they do out in Nevada. You go get your checkup every 3 days, have your card, you're good to go, man.
You don't think that
Hey, one at a time. Damn.
You don't think that encourages degrading behavior, though?
For some people, yeah, but for others, it doesn't.
It does. But don't we all do shit?
Look,
We don't
wait. I'm getting ready to come over there. We're going to talk about this particular subject logically. Let me finish what I'm doing here. You know, it's funny because there's a lot of downfalls, but there's a lot of big pluses too. I mean, you know, unfortunately, I know quite a few guys, and girls, by the way, who are going to jail for soliciting prostitution. It costs a lot of money to deal with it. It's a really big embarrassment. And they like to put your name in a newspaper down here if you get caught. So, it's a big, big embarrassment. But what? So if I was going to go out with somebody, if I was single and I was going out on a date, I guarantee you it would cost me between $200 and $300 to take a decent woman out on a decent date right now. I'm not talking about just a trip to the movies. I'm talking about dinner, dining.
I'm talking McDonald's drive-through. You guys are fancy down south.
No, man. You want to treat a woman
up
right,
here in
man.
New York, you get some KFC.
Hey, remember this. Remember
little
this,
trip
Michael.
down by the beach.
You know the old motto about you get what you pay for, my friend. You always keep that in the back of your head, man. It's always like, wait, some lady said she's offended, she's leaving. Well, hey, we can't help ourselves. We're guys. We're going to offend you from time to time. And frankly, I don't think you'll be the first woman I've offended. Or Jason, or Michael for that matter.
Well, this is one thing I've always kind of wondered about the legality of prostitution, that if somebody pays you to have sex, that's like, oh no, big old horrible crime. But if somebody pays you to have sex on camera, well, that's just fucking entertainment.
It's porno.
That's because they can say they're in a different state. Oh, we're not in our state. That's the internet, man. Wait, what the that's the internet.
Well, some states have put people away for that. Florida's put people away for making porn. And a lot, the southern states, man, they're always got to stick up their ass about something. So.
Oh yeah,
really, not anymore. That's the old days.
Because they want the money. You guys want the money. You see that marijuana money. Now Colorado's building schools, roads, all kinds of stuff. They got hundreds of millions coming in for marijuana.
Actually, no, that's not what it's about. You forget Louisiana got the casino money and the oil money. They don't really need marijuana money. For them, it's a little bit different. What happened was a bunch of these congressmen, these freaking rednecks, congressmen we got, decided that, look, we're never going to legalize pot. It's crazy. So somebody big and upper echelon went and did a poll in the state like a dumbass and found out that, when it came to medical marijuana, 90% of the state wanted it. For recreational, 72%. So they got to thinking, give it to them or get voted out. Which one are you going to do?
Well, the feds
give it to the people.
The feds
we'll
are
see,
about
though.
to
It's still going to
vote.
get through the Senate.
They had to change the whole schedule.
But I seen they tried voting on it last month and it failed miserably.
Yeah, but they've got to change the status and their ridiculous status.
No, they're not going to. Why would you change something that makes you so much money? Think about it. They raid these guys. They still raid people in Colorado and California.
Of course.
You know that, right? So they can come in right now, even though it's legal in these states. They can come in, take all your money, even though you can put some of the money in the bank. You can't put it all in. But it used to be you couldn't put none in, but they passed some rules. I think you can have up to. It's either 600,000 or 6 million. I'm not sure which one it is. Don't quote me because I'm not positive. But
I'll never hire you as a contractor.
Yeah, but they got in, like the guy in Colorado. This article was in about 10 months ago. For some reason, they went to his home. They raided his business. They got, I think it was 1,100 pounds of marijuana and $2.6 million in cash. And technically, there's no law about keeping cash in your house, but it's still illegal. It's still a Schedule I. And from what I understood, for some reason, I guess he didn't want to fight about the pot or the money, so they just decided we'll call it even, and they let him go.
Bitcoin. Put that money in Bitcoins.
I ain't buying no Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just going to fight the
part of the reason, look, the perfect way to legalize marijuana would be just to do it so no money gets made off of it whatsoever. Just let everybody
I tell you,
X amount of fucking weed in your house. All you need is light dirt and fucking water.
I know this show is going to go out to quite a few people, so listen, people. You know what? Don't try to fight anybody. Vote out the old fogies who look at you when you say marijuana like you're a criminal who should be shot. Vote them out. Nancy Pelosi, Reid, McConnell, the whole shitload of them. And guess what? In less than one season, if you vote, because y'all can vote them out in the next election. All of them, Republicans and Democrats. I'm not taking sides here. Vote them out. Put somebody 50 or under in, and guess what? Marijuana will be legal in that term. Bam.
Vote out over. Anyone that knows what a moon pie is, man, vote them out.
Hey, what I mean? That's fighting words, buddy. And
gone.
You know what? Them youngins know what moon pies are too.
Gone with the wind. Ooh, I don't give a damn.
Reason that people are getting tired that politicians aren't listening to them. I mean, 18 states are recreationally legal already, and then you've got like Joe Biden, supposed to be the president of the people, and don't go call me some kind of Trumper because I hate y'all assholes too. But Joe Biden's over here firing staffers because on a questionnaire they said, yes, I smoked weed back in the day. I mean, come
Yeah.
on, Joe. What the fuck?
Well,
But
Kamala smoked weed to get fire her.
you know what
I
I
mean, she,
find funny? I find this hilarious. So, we got the Black Radio Network in New Orleans now. And I got a friend of mine who works over there. He's a young black guy. And he said, Joe, I hate it when you get right. That's just how I said. I was like, why? He said, we got screwed, man. I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, you love Biden. Come on, get over it. He said, yeah. And I was listening to all that shit you said. And all of a sudden I realized. So first he goes up to Atlanta, gets everybody to try to leave Atlanta. He said, one of the biggest black cities in the freaking country. He's like, what the hell? So then the guy's an idiot. What was he did today, or the order he passed today? Basically, just put like a third of black people out of work. Oh, I forgot what the hell. I have to go find it. Went right out of my mind. I was getting ready to say it, but
Oh, something else that I
not today. It was 2 days ago. But anyway, when Ronnie was telling me about it, he's like, I don't get it. I said, what do you mean, dude? He got in. He's gonna do what he wants. I said, did you really think Joe Cracker Biden was on the black man's side? Did you really believe that? I said, you know what? I said, sometimes I just wonder if you're stupid because come on, dude, look at this cracker. I said, even I call him a cracker. And I said, I said, come on, man. I mean, the dude's a cracker. I said, he put more black people in jail than anybody in the damn country with all them crazy laws he passed. And then he brought in the woman who put more black people in jail in California than any DA and made him his VP. I'm like, what the hell? And you wondering why he's passed. To all my black friends out there, reparations is off the table. Democrats are
look.
dropping it now.
If there are any black people listening, I'd really like to
That's quite a
ask
few,
your
actually.
opinion on this because have y'all heard about basically the menthol cigarette ban that they're trying to ban?
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, that's the other thing.
And the reason they're doing it isn't for general health of anybody; it's to protect black people from themselves. And look,
you black people are
smoking might
dumb.
be
That's what
bad for
Biden's
you.
telling you, Uncle Cracker. Go ahead,
That is your choice to make, but doesn't it have some bad optics if you only ban the cigarettes that black people are supposed to predominantly?
and flavored cigars. Flavored because they roll blunts with flavored cigars.
I'm already telling you this. They ain't taking my flavored cigars. I will start getting revolution over this.
Flavored cigars,
Man,
and no menthol.
right now I'm smoking them swirls. I done got hooked on them things. Because I don't smoke nothing else anymore unless I'm bored.
Joe said, don't you take my coconut blunt.
What the bleep? Sorry, guys. I don't even know what anything is that. That's my damn iPhone going off. I thought I had it turned off.
Hey, Grandpa, answer the phone.
Actually, no. This is a lady I've been trying to get hold of. A friend of mine, Amelia, turned me on to, and we want to talk about some stuff. But I'm gonna text her while we're talking. Damn, it sucks. Let me. No, I'm not on my way. Don't get stupid phone. Anyway, apologize for that, guys. That was like
back talking about guns or pickup trucks. What the hell?
No guns or pickup trucks. Oh, now I have to say this now because you brought it up. So, I hired a new roofer for my house, and these guys show up. Now, I already know it's gonna be expensive when they show up in 2 new F-250s. I'm like, really?
Uh-oh.
I'm like, oh man, what's the price going to be here? And I got a metal roof on this house right now. And the metal roof is usually twice what a shingle roof is. And so I said, he pulls up. I said, wait. I said, dude, I know how much both them trucks cost. And I said, the red one probably about 50. The white one probably closer to 75. I said, give or take. I said, because they fully loaded. They look like maybe they're 2 years old, like he bought them from the last hurricane. He started laughing. They're out of Texas, by the way. And we got to talk, and I said, yeah, you still paying them bitches off, aren't you? I said, not on my house, you're not. I said, it ain't going to happen. So I sat down, I gave my insurance pay. I said, this is what we got, this is what we're going to work with, and this is what you can do. And then we agreed on the color and everything. So probably about 3 weeks, which the studio needs one because the studio started leaking. And you can't be leaking on this electronics. And I'll go a little insane about that. Brenda, and thank you, by the way, for I can't remember I can't remember your whole man's name now. Yeah, it went right out of my head. Yeah, it's what you call old age, baby. That's all. Oh yeah, okay, Lonnie. I'm sorry. Yeah, I remembered it. Yeah, for some reason, it just popped back into my head. Yeah, I was hoping you would text it. Tell him thank you for the little 6 core that came in the other day. I haven't even started it up. It's sitting on the floor yet. Yeah, he put all the stats on top of it, what it was. Yeah, 4.2, 6 core, yeah, running 8 gigs of RAM. Tell him thank you. I appreciate it. It's
Since you done brought up computers, I mean, like the supply chain is so ridiculous right now. It's basically nobody can build anything because there are no microchips available.
there's nothing available. We're gonna talk all about all of that. So right now, I finally get in a position in my life where I might be able to really make some serious money. And I made some really big money twice in my life before, and I'd really like to double that or triple that. And the station's starting to do real well. And I got some opportunities with that, but I just so we got some land. We got about 20, 30 acres we can build on. We were going to sub it out in quarter lots, maybe half acre, maybe a quarter acre, and start building. I mean, that's where my dad made all his money. That's where his uncles made all his money. It's where quite a few members of my family made all their money building and selling. So the seller's market's incredible right now. I put my house up for sale in Helois, the little threeplex we had. So we put it up for what we wanted, and it sold in 3 days. Boom. A friend of mine said, "Joe, your house sold that fast." So he put his up for $50,000 more than mine was, and it sold in 2 days. This is old Metairie, by the way. And what's funny is my house is a shambles right now because of all the damage from the storm. And I've actually had 4 realtors come by and make offers on the house as it sits. So I told them, I said, "I'll tell you what." I said, I got a good deal in this house. I said, when it went up in the market, it was for $360. I said, but it's got some damage on it. And I said, this is what I owe on it. I said, so I'll tell you what. I said, if you give me $260 as is, I'll move out tomorrow. And I said, because I got a place in Pensacola I'm looking at right now. I was going to buy it as a rental because I got to, from selling the other one, I got to get something to put this in so I don't have to pay all this tax money. But yes, people, boring stuff. Life is how it goes. And
Well, man,
when anybody gets any ideas, Joe is poor. Okay. Yes. Trust me when I say that. I owe everybody a mom. You heard me earlier telling you how much credit card debt I had. When you're rich, you don't have that much credit. Well, you could, but you probably don't because you just use your debit card. Use real cash. Yeah, debit cards are cash now. I mean, for the majority of people, and and when I met Jason long times ago, Jason was just a pup. Man, I didn't even want to use plastic of any kind. I didn't even like talking to people who used it. I know I hated this shit. They want to be involved in it, want to mess with it. Next thing I know, I got 36 credit cards. I'm like, what the hell happened here? Train wreck is what happened. People, I'm telling y'all, don't get in credit card debt. And if you do, make sure you keep your cards under 50%. Not so much for your credit, because it does help if you keep around 33, but more so because they nail you. Once you break that 65, 68% mark, oh no, the interest becomes ridiculous. Because it's weird on my cards. As long as I'm staying like below 50%, my interest is between 9 and 11%. I break 70%, boom, 17 to 27%. So,
yep.
I'm like, no, thank you, buddy. You just keep that over there to your little lovely self.
Well, it was basically the after. Oh, man, look, back when you met me, back then, dude, I was probably carrying like, I'm not shitting you, like $80,000 worth of fucking credit cards in my back pocket, and that was just me for having them a while. I mean, like no like appreciable income to be able to back that up. But this was the wild, wild west days. They just keep upping my limit.
They did.
Until I've got like 15 grand on this card, 9 grand on this one, 17 on this one, And man, it was the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina when I got stuck down there that I basically ended up having to fill all those cards up just to live because nobody was paying anybody shit. And I was stuck in New Orleans.
Yeah, it was a crazy time. That's for damn sure.
I eventually got out of that. I basically don't even have any credit cards anymore, but I'm at the first point in my life where I went from like one of the brokest people you could possibly ever meet to now I own more shit and have 6 figures in the bank. I mean, this is kind of like a completely new experience for me.
And it makes life different for you. It relaxes you more. You can be more comfortable. You can make better decisions because you don't have to,
Actually, it's a little bit dangerous because right now I don't have to do a damn thing, and I'm not doing a damn thing. That's a little bit self-destructive.
Yeah, but you'll get motivated. Don't worry. You'll want to get out and get about. It's just a matter of time. It may take you a little while, but you'll get your ass out and about. Because really, everything's starting to open up. I mean, and you like to drive anyway, so it's getting out on the road is going to be nice. I'm planning on getting out a little bit this year. I'm definitely going out to LA in October. Hopefully both award ceremonies are going on, so we'll be present for both. So we'll be out there for fun and vacation. And we're thinking about doing the Writers of the Future thing when we go out to WordPress, because there are going to be a lot of big names there. We were thinking about maybe doing a little mini conference while we're there. Not so much maybe more science-based than, well, maybe we'll label it more science and include some weird stuff in it. But something a little different anyway. Yeah,
I don't know,
something,
man. I
something
might not
different.
be able to go to that one because I think the Scientologists still have me on a bad person list.
Don't worry, I am very good friends with these people. We do a
Now, don't
lot
get
of
me
press
wrong.
work.
Those Writers of the Future novels, every time I come across one of those at a used bookstore, I snap it up because,
Yeah.
like, short story
You see
science
that? You see
fiction
them two
novels are
things
my
behind
thing.
me? You see the middle picture back there? That was sent to me by one of the bigwigs over there. That's $3,600 a collector's item. See right underneath it? That's the really expensive iPad they sent me. Not the pad is not what's
Yeah.
so expensive. It was only like $600-700. What was expensive was the $3,600 of L. Ron Hubbard's audio and books on it. That was really nice of me, and it's cool because I like to listen to when I'm driving sometimes. But still, I mean,
Joe over there reading Dianetics and shit.
I haven't got that far yet, but it was funny. Before I met them, I had someone had offered me a shot in the Scientology. I was like, dude, I don't have the money to be in Scientology. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? He said,
Hey,
it's not always about the money. It's about what you know and how you can help us. And he said, you're pretty comfortable in the media. We notice you're in a lot of places, and it's true. I mean, we're on. I don't know. As far as I can tell you, we're on every podcast that exists. I haven't found one we're not. And when I tell people if they see one, call me or write me, and I'll put us on it. But I know it's over 150. We're on more than 100 live servers now, so it's a weird thing, man. We got a lot of reach, a lot of people here. So I get weird calls from places. I got a call from Europe the other day, actually from Scotland, and I'm like, this guy's talking to me. I'm like, who are you? And his accent's way worse than mine. Mine's pretty damn bad. And I'm trying to listen to him tell me, and I thought he was talking about like aliens or UFOs or something. He wasn't. He was calling about this show, The Centralist. And he's going, oh no, man, I love you. Yeah, you pick on everybody. You don't care. You hate Trump. But you back hate on Biden and Reagan shit. I was like, but it took me. It just. I don't know. For some reason, it just didn't register in my head right away. But they're great, and it's nice. It's nice to talk to them, Glenn. We're going to be actually we're going to talk about that right now. We were talking about it a few minutes ago. We're going to go right back to it. When I was talking about building a house, one of the reasons we're not doing it is because a 2x4 down here, which last year was $2.11, is $11.09.
oh yeah, man. What's a 3/4 inch sheet of plywood go for now? Like $80?
Yeah, some places 60 to $90, depending on where you're buying it. Yeah. People, you know how much it cost me to build a house? We're talking like $300 a square foot. And don't get me wrong, I could probably sell it for what I wanted, but I ain't going to make any money off it because, on a house like that, it shouldn't be maybe 40% of the cost, 30% of the cost. This is going to be like 70% of the cost is going to come from that one source, which just doesn't leave much of a profit margin in. You want a 15% profit margin when building a house. Right now, I think you'd have, I hate to say like 5 or 6%, and that would be risky. You could get stuck. The market is selling big right now, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay like that. And by the way, whoever sent me that, no, condos are not selling like that. That's homes are selling like that. Oh, yeah. And you can go call any realtor. If your home, I would actually try to sell it on your own first, but because everybody I know recently sold theirs on their own, and it's sold fast. They don't even care what they are right now. They're just buying them up because they can't get inventory. I've seen junky homes in the city.
A big part of the problem with the housing market right now is that I don't know. I've recently read an article that basically I think it was like 1 out of every 4 homes is not bought by somebody who's going to move into it.
Nope.
I mean, right now there are a lot of there are a lot of people that are looking forward to living the American dream, becoming homeowners, investing in a piece of property. But when you're willing to pay 20% down and put a 40-year mortgage on a place, they're not going to sell to you. They're going to sell to that bank or that real estate developer that's going to make you a ridiculous cash offer.
They are.
It's really a big part of the bubble that's happening right now.
Show me the money. Where's the money?
I don't know, man. But yeah, like you were saying about the lumber prices, it's like I'm actually got 90 acres of property here, and like 60 acres of that is all red oaks and white oaks. And it's like I bought a little drone for a little project hobby to do with, and I've been flying over it, kind of like observing the trees and how my canopy is doing back there. And it really looks like, between the droughts we've had over the last several years and this like unexpected freeze we had this winter, I'd probably say a good like 1 out of every 10 or 12 of my oaks is dead. And I must have
that sucks because they're worth money.
Well, I'm genuinely thinking of buying a sawmill and trying to go a little bit Ferengi and making some profit out of that because I ain't slanging pine, dude. I'm slanging hardwoods. What's up?
Yeah,
Local
hardwood's worth way more money. It's worth way more money than pine because you can make furniture out of it. You can make all kind of stuff out of it. It's really good. Actually, Jenny, that's true. What it is?
Oh
Wait,
man,
hold
and
on.
I've got, and the sad thing about it is it's the biggest, oldest trees that seem to be dying, and I've got some good 300-400-year-old monsters out here.
Yeah, see that because I'm telling you, they worth big money. I know. Depending on what it is, you can get anywhere from for a little tree $5 grand. For some nice ones, I've seen them go any 30, 40, 50. They had one that had there was a white oak down here that had fell and sat in the water for about 5 years. That thing went for 250 G's. And you know what else is big money? If you know how to do it, they back in the day when they were logging all them rivers, they go up and then pulling trees out of there now and use them to make furniture and stuff. They got a great patina to them. Yeah, Pete, we actually know about a lot of stuff. Sorry about that. But anyway, getting back to what Glenda was saying. Actually, no, Glenda, everything's expensive. Now, for some reason, you can get steak down here cheap and get hamburger cheap. Paper towels getting a little crazy. Not outrageous, but crazy. Toilet paper, not nice, about what it used to be. Bread's up from $3 to $4 a loaf. Milk's up. But a lot of the stuff that we get locally, certain foods and vegetables and stuff like that, haven't really changed. It's the shit we get from outside. Anything chemicals, other kind of stuff. It's just, and then it's all of this, like my roof of my house. If I decide to go metal, I know I've got anywhere from 8 to 14-week wait. When just 6 months ago or 8 months ago, they could have been here the next day. This is bullshit. And I can't find any excuse. Oh, it's COVID. Oh, COVID.
Well,
Bullshit.
there is kind of one legitimate excuse for some of the logistics issues right now, and it goes back to the Texas big freeze back in February. That you'd be surprised how many, basically any kind of chemical that you need, that any type of thing is made out of, come from chemical plants on the Gulf Coast. All those shut down here, basically when they froze over. And these complex like distilleries and chemical plants, they are not something you can just flip the switch off and turn it back on. If they go down, it takes weeks to months to get them going on. And that's a big part of the problem right now is the raw materials to make everything are kind of in short supply. I mean, if you're running a just-in-time inventory system, you're kind of shit out of luck. If you're running a more traditional business model where you have supplies in a warehouse somewhere, you're still in the game for right now, but it just catches up with you later.
Well, they got to do something because citizens ain't going to put up with it. So they're going to have to figure something out. See, this is what makes America so much different than the rest of the world. First off, let's visit some of our allies. So Canada, them bitches are locked down tight. Still, I mean, it is so tight they can't even squeak a pee on the side of the building. I mean, it's crazy how tight they got them locked down. Mexico ain't much better. Germany, oh shit, Germany's making Canada look like they got breathing room. And then I was listening to this story the other day. I heard the lady speaking German, but she was on the radio talking about she owned they have about a 360-year-old restaurant they had. It's been handed down through the families. The government forced them to close down. So guess what? They may be going out of business. And they're starting to lose traditions like these, things that you're not going to be able to replace, things that's going to make a difference in people's opinions, ideas. And, look at California getting rid of their governor. New York's getting ready to put their governor in jail. Mayor's in trouble. I mean, it's
Cuomo ain't going to jail. Oh my God.
Oh no, yeah, he might be because of that second thing that came out. The other stuff, I didn't think he was going to jail.
He's not even stepping down. He'll barricade himself in that place. But he's not going anywhere.
Well, what you think of Cuomo, man? I kind of see him as that asshole that thinks he's some hot shit and he's got to wave his dick around, and it's all basically catching up to him now.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's basically catching up to him. But what happened is a couple of his what do they call him? His assistants leaked some information the other day down after the feds got. So they were covering up more of the numbers than they admitted they were covering up. So he already got in trouble because he was covering up some. Now they find out it's a much larger number of people died in the old folks' homes than he said. So he's in trouble for that. He's going to probably go to jail for that. But he ain't going to go to real jail. Look, people, when you hear me say politicians are going to jail, it's not like they're going to Angola or any place like that. They're going where Edwards went. Edwards got massages. I'm not shitting you. He got massage. He had conjugal visits. He had 2 nights a week they could get gourmet food. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you might be locked in a cell, but it's not like being in general population and in a real jail.
Yeah, Club Fed ain't nothing like county.
I'm just, and this ain't even that. This is the upper echelon of Club Fed. This is where the rich people get to go. They actually keep them
that's
separate.
That's that Martha Stewart prison and shit.
Yeah, I mean, people, unfortunately, that's the way our country works. It shouldn't be like that. If they effed up that big that they ended up in jail, they should be going to the same jail that you and I are. But they know they wouldn't last 5 minutes there, so they don't care. So they give them their own little jail. Money talks and bullshit walks. All that's wonderful stuff. But so it's like everybody's like, well, Hillary's going to go to jail. I said Hillary will never go to jail, and if she does, if by some god chance she does, it ain't going to be no real jail. And I said they'll probably just clamp something around her ankle and tell her to stay at her house.
None of them go to jail. The one guy that went to jail hung himself from 4 feet in the air.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all, folks.
Yep. Yeah. But it was interesting. Hey, he hovered off the floor and then dropped, but he kept his legs up wide.
He bungee jumped off.
Anyway, I mean,
guy.
Hey, it happens, man. It's possible. Anything is possible,
Sure.
man. The guy
They just happened to put him in a cell with a cop that was in there for strangling people.
Look, I'm gonna show you what happened. I'm gonna show you exactly what happened.
An ex-cop.
This is what happened. Ring, ring, ring. Now listen. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Wait, I'm gonna tell you what happened. This is exactly what happened. Guy sitting there, phone rings. Hey, hello. Hi, Bob. Do you know who this is? Oh, hi, Miss Hillary. Is it that time already? Yes, it is, Bob. Now, do you know what I want? Yes, I think I do, Miss Hillary. Is he there with you? He's in his cell, Miss Hillary. Okay, now he can't wake up in the morning. And if he does, you're not. Goodbye. And of course, I was into that because there was no camera footage or nothing. I mean, come on.
No,
man.
They don't talk like that. She would say, he's not getting a wake-up call. That's what she would say.
Yeah, but that was for the sake of the radio audience. We might
you gotta say no. You gotta be cool. These guys are all cloak and dagger, man. They're all like, okay, kill the chicken or whatever.
Wait. Okay, so Kanye, my ass. Okay, I'm sorry, dude. So Kanye, he already identified himself as a Z-Gener. Okay, he says he's 22 years old, and he thinks that anybody who served, how long? Did I get that wrong? Last 24 years as president. I can't say that on the air, dude. I get the gist of what you mean. And you think all of this is a hoax? No. Okay, I can't agree with you on the COVID stuff. COVID's definitely real because I got it last January, so I can't argue with that. But I will tell you this. A lot of this other stuff, these certain shortages are. There's some there's some real ones because there's been a lot of logistic problems in the country. We're short on truckers. We're short on trucks too. And thanks to Texas, that also, because Texas actually got a lot of our people tied up right now because they're trying to recover from their great freeze that they should have never had a problem with. They're using, I think they're contracted 1/3 all truckers in the United States until the wind farm is completely rebuilt. That's like 2 years, people. So that just, and something else they're building out there. Somebody also told me that Texas is buying energy from some thermal grid. I think in New Mexico. Was it New Mexico? Arizona? I don't know. Somewhere on one of those two states. I think it was New Mexico, actually. Somewhere up close to Interstate 20.
Oh, you mean the Hunter Biden Electric Company?
Hunter Biden.
With the Ukrainian.
Wait. I just seen a Hunter Biden question go by. Hold on. Let's go find it.
Smoking some Parmesan cheese.
Since we were talking, so she says, Joe, since y'all were talking about jail, can you ask Jason and Mike, do you think if Hunter Biden's going to go to jail? And if for some reason you do, for what?
Of course not.
No, he ain't going to jail.
He's the president's son.
He was the first president's son that went to jail. What are you talking about?
Who was the first president's son that went to jail?
No, actually, it wasn't his son. It was his brother. I'm sorry. Wrong guy. And then
what president's son went to jail?
No, actually, it wasn't his son. It was his brother. And he actually went to jail before he was
retract your statement.
Yes, I made a mistake. And then it got me thinking about Billy, but we're not going to talk about him because Billy's retarded.
Look, Hunter Biden's another one of those people that, he's just this typical, stereotypical piece of shit. Well, my daddy's a senator. I do what I want. Yeah. And that's basically
man, I have to give
repercussions.
He's a black sheep. I get it, man. And listen, if you're
a crybaby, is what he is.
If you're going to float cash in front of someone's face, he's going to grab it. I mean, there's a lot of people that would do the same thing. I'm not saying he's a great guy. I'm not saying he's a messed up dude. You know what I mean? But whatever. You got strippers. Get a stripper pregnant.
But that's not what he's in trouble for. He's in. They got
your book of don't.
So right now there's a 17-year-old encounter on there that he's got to deal with. And from what I heard the state it was in, it ain't legal. So he's got to deal with that. He's got
Now, that was a
dealing with
Republican.
China.
That's Matt Gaetz.
Oh no, you're thinking about you're thinking about the Florida guy. That's a whole different thing. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They took car across state lines. That's also a no-no in Florida, so they're in trouble too. But they can only find one guy to even try to corroborate the story. And for some reason, this guy had been writing to Trump for 3 years to get a pardon about something that wasn't being investigated. So the DA's kind of like, I'm not really sure about this. I don't know what's going to happen there. He's going to probably lose his job.
They're too busy going after Giuliani, man. You see, they raided his office.
Oh yeah, but they done already put a countersuit on the DA, so we're going to see how that goes.
Like all those Republican suits, it's not going to go anywhere.
I don't know. Republicans win a lot of seats. What are you talking about? They're going to win at least 19 against Biden in the next 2 weeks.
Lawyer ball.
They're going to win the big one for the right for your guns. I mean, they actually win a lot of lawsuits. That's how they keep the Democrats in check. But the Democrats do the same thing. That's what people don't pay attention to. So this is what really goes on, people. If somebody takes control, like the Democrats just did, so they get all this crazy shit going on. So here's the GOP, I think now with 47 lawsuits. So what's going to really happen here is 17 of them will get dropped. The judge is going to be come on, that's just stupid. And he's going to drop those. The other 30, 15 to 18, and they're going to see all the way to the end, and they're going to win every one of those. And those are going to usually be stuff that where the president or the Congress is over what this means. And those are easy to win because the court's going to be like, no, this is unconstitutional. No, you cannot do this. That's like the other day when Biden's talking about stacking the Supreme Court. That's a sure way to end the Democratic Party. America will flip on that. Even the Democrats are not for that. They're like when the poll went out the other day, the NBC poll of all people went out today. 78% of America said not at all. I think 22% said, well, we might think about it with certain guidelines, and the rest were just didn't care. So nobody really actually was going for it, and it's a stupid idea because all that'll happen when the GOP takes over, they'll just put a bunch more in. So we'll end up one day with 200-300 Supreme Court. That'll just be a freaking mess.
You know what? What difference does it make? I mean,
it makes a difference.
The machine doesn't even care. All that stuff is just
show. The Supreme Court,
the smoking mirrors that makes people gnaw on each other's bones and makes all the sheep fight with each other. Everybody going crazy. Meanwhile, it doesn't matter.
It does. Without them,
Mike is right. You're wrong. Mike's right.
No. Without the Supreme Court, we couldn't even do this. Just in the last decade, just the attacks on free speech in the last decade, without the Supreme Court, we couldn't even do this. We'd already been thrown off the air. They just said, no, you can't talk about that stuff. I'm sorry, you're out of here. There's 41 attempts to remove gun rights in the country just in the last 2 years? That's ridiculous. Without the Supreme Court, like the one they're getting ready to take up, without them, we would lose a shitload of rights. Because if it was up to the politicians, it would be just no rights, hardly at all. Just enough to maybe keep you a little happy.
You don't think that there's a whole crop of Democrats out there that love their guns, and they don't? I mean, look at a state like Vermont, man. Very Democrat, very gun oriented. So I mean, there is a balancing point. Look at AOC.
No, but that's not who gets in power, Mike.
She can't believe it right now. AOC can't believe what's going on.
So let me ask you this, Mike. Let me ask you this: Is there any Democrats? Are there any Democrats on the Supreme Court that are pro-gun? No, there is not.
I don't know.
No, there is not, and they are serious anti-gun. All three of them. So it ain't. All three of them.
But it comes down to the case, and it comes down to the president.
Well, now what it does, that's not true. It comes down to politics.
I mean, you're not going to change the Constitution unless you change the Constitution, or amend the Constitution. But really. How's this, man? Who are you going to shoot? And I feel like people are so stupid. And I'm a gun guy, right? I mean, when people say to me, why would someone need an AR-15? Well, I actually own one. You know what I mean? And they're like, what do you need that
but
for?
Mike, but think about this.
What do you need? What do you need your high-end Audi for? What do you need a Ferrari for? What do you need?
What do you need? If somebody asks you,
maybe I want to shoot some flying squirrels, man. They're very hard to hit. You know what I mean? Like, you know what?
But that's not the point. You see, that's the problem when it comes to guns.
Nobody actually understands Joe Biden's like, why do you need 100 rounds? I don't want 100 rounds, but I want the capacity. If I need a capacity, man, you ever try walking around, even shooting at the range, you don't want even more than 20, really, because it gets heavy, man. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot to that. especially if you're shooting something larger, like, AR-10. You talk about chamber in 308. Try walking around with 100 of those.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, but you see,
I live out in the country, and basically my whole place is a shooting range for the entire family, friends, everybody else. I mean, well, like you were saying about, well, that's a big problem that the Democrats have, is there are no more of those blue dogs, Ronald Reagan, Texas and Richard, back in the day Democrats that, are actually moderate and not on. See, well, that I believe the whole problem with this country is this whole polarization, one side or the other, extremist shit. I'm watching it just tear my country apart.
It's funny. Bill Clinton looks more like a Republican these days than all these other Democrats. It's very weird, like what's happened in the Democratic Party, but originally we were going to talk about conspiracies on the show tonight, and I think the biggest conspiracy, and it's not a conspiracy, it's actually happened, was what the Democrats have perpetrated on the American public, over these last, not just 4 years, but I mean, what they're working for and the goals, man. I mean, these people got this election by lying and bamboozling and basically doing everything they accused everyone else of doing.
That's true.
But Trump let it happen, and Trump missed a golden.
Trump didn't let it happen. Obama let it happen. Where the hell were you?
Obama.
Yeah, this didn't start under Trump. He wasn't
president.
This didn't start under Trump. Just started under Obama.
I'm talking about
technically
what they
it started under.
No, I'm talking about the riots. I'm talking about all the stuff they orchestrated.
What were you talking about? There were hardly no riots under Trump compared to Obama. Not even close.
What kind of crap are you smoking, Joe?
No, dude. No. I'll pull up the stats.
There was no riots under Trump.
That's not what I said, dude.
What coma were you in?
Okay, I'm gonna put you on mute if you ain't gonna listen.
Uh-oh. The old man's
gonna be honest with that. Nah, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Obviously, you didn't pay any attention to Obama because there was a riot a freaking week. He's the one that started BLM. He's the one that started the whole damn mess. That's where it all started at, and that's where it came from. Under Trump, he averaged one a month. Clinton got him beat. As far as the mass shootings, Obama 162, Trump 14, Clinton I think was 36. The Democrats outweigh the Republicans on mass shootings or regular shootings on a weekly basis, like 4-1. I mean, dude, it's ridiculous. And right now it's even crazy. But I didn't want to get into that because I wanted to bring this up because Chris wanted to see this. Chris,
change the topic.
No, I've already won that argument, my friend. It's the thing about this.
It hasn't even begun.
Yeah, actually, I've already won it. There's no reason. It's a one deal. But anyway, quick. This is what we were talking about before we went here. So we're going back to where we were, and then we can come back to this. So this is what people understand. Like when you heard Michael say about the AR-15, it tells me right there when you hear people say that they did not read the Constitution. Constitution doesn't say anything about protecting your rights to own guns. It's about your right to form a militia. So in the old days, we had militias, and then the National Guard took it over. And it went back to the government, but it clearly says a unregulated, separate from the government militia. That means if you're a militia, you have the right to bear real arms, not just little handguns or shotguns, but real arms. You can arm up just like the National Guard. That's actually what the right in the Constitution says. And you can go read it for yourself. It's quite easy and quite literally easy to understand. So when I hear people arguing the right to carry a gun, personally, that's not what it says. It does say the government cannot infringe on your right to bear arms, but it doesn't mean that you can just go walking around in a Walmart and carrying a gun. That's not what it's saying. But it does clearly say that you can form a militia to protect yourself from domestic and from foreign. So people, if you really want to know what the fight is about, that's what the fight's about. It's not about mama carrying their little gun into the Walmart. Okay, most states in the South wouldn't give a shit anyway. I mean, most of the states I live in are open carry. Or concealed carry. You don't have to have a license or anything. Even Louisiana's dropping. You can carry concealed or unconcealed. It doesn't matter. Shit, you see people all the time walking in a damn convenience store with a 9mm inside. I'm like, really? Really? Do you really? Come on. What, you think somebody's gonna mug you in the middle of the metro? Get the shit out of here. But that's where we are in society today. We want to all bear the right to bear arms for what? Jason, you carry your gun on you or in your car?
I carry it in my car most of the time. I do not take it into public places with me because I'm not going to break the law like that.
Yeah, well, I'm not either. The only time I ever effed up is I forgot I had one tucked in the back. It was wintertime and I had my coat on. And I'm sitting down at a casino gambling and I went to lean back and I was like, oh, was that? And I reached back and I said, oh, shit. So I got up, cashed out, gave them a ticket, and moseyed my ass because, man, the troopers will take you down in a casino if you got a gun. Man, they do not play around with that. That's one of them. That is one of them. That and banks, man. And I did see a guy accidentally walk in the bank one time with him. He ran out just as fast as he came.
Well, people like us aren't the problem. I mean, look,
No, we're not.
I can kind of understand some of the gun control arguments to a certain degree because there are a bunch of people out there who do not need to have.
I agree with that, and I'm not against background checks or any of that shit. Somebody said, "What?" I said, "No, background. No problem with background check. I mean, you should. It's to me, background checks and voter IDs should just be mandatory things. It should not even be an argument. And I guarantee you, if you ask the nation, not the politicians, that's the answer you'll get. Because I've really not met that many Americans that were anti-voter laws or anti-gun. Now, I do know a lot of Americans are anti-concealed carry. But as far as owning a gun, most of the Americans I know aren't like that. Even almost every liberal friend I have has a gun. All my middleist friends do. Shit. I don't even want to talk about my GOP friends. They got freaking arsenals. They got a gun. They really literally got arsenals, man. I'm not kidding with you people. These guys got serious. I mean, they'll have 5-6 shotguns, 3-4 rifles, probably 10-11 pistols, usually a couple semi-automatics, and some of them may have some bigger stuff. Because in some states, you can actually have like a rocket launcher or a mortar or stuff like that. I forgot how they get them, but
yeah, there's special federal licenses for stuff like that. But I mean, you can get them, but they make it a pain in the ass because
I don't blame them.
Yeah, to get your own RPG.
But let's be honest, people. I mean, if you're just out to blow stuff up, you don't need any of that. As Timothy McVeigh taught us all, 2 decades ago, some chemicals are very explosive. When I heard that the first time, and I heard they murdered out of fertilizer, I'm like, you're shitting me, right? Because I never really thought of fertilizer being that explosive. Not that it wasn't explosive or chemical active. I just never thought of. Took the whole facade off of was it 7-story, 9-story?
Yeah, that whole federal building was basically trash.
Yeah, I just never seen that before, man. That's kind of like, what the hell?
Chemistry's a bitch.
It is, and if you're good at it, but who would have thought some little redneck from Oklahoma somewhere? Yeah, I'm gonna teach you feds a lesson. I was like,
well, I mean, the whole fundamental idea, like going back to the AR, like the whole scary black rifle thing is, well, for one thing, most of the guns that I personally own are older than 1964 and are basically family pieces that don't even have serial numbers. And even if you got rid of any semi-automatic rifle, do you know how many people I can kill with a lever action rifle and a single action pistol?
You know, when I watch some of these things,
I mean, the cat's out of the bag. I mean,
and it's always wondered to me. It's always been hearing things when we see these mass shooters. You know, if you have any reasonable understanding of weaponry, I mean, you could really do some damage if you wanted to. So, you never really see some stupid kid get hold of a gun. I guess we should be grateful that some ex-Marine or other than the one the one in Texas that shot up the college at that time. That was way back in the day. But other than that, I mean, he was serious. That's a sniper. He just, hey you, just killing people left and right. But it's like the guy in Vegas. He could have done a lot more damage. He could have just sat up there with the window with 2 of them, just sprayed the crowd. Yeah, he could have took out at least 200-300. And if he'd have shot that damn gas tank up, and he couldn't have probably exploded it trying to penetrate it, but if he could have got it leaking and then got a spark going, he might have.
Look, mass shootings are always going to happen. I mean,
I don't think you can get around
it. You can catch a bunch of idiots with their stupid, like, revolutionary chatter on the internet, tooling themselves up and doing anything, but that's not the guy you got to worry about. You cannot stop a sufficiently motivated individual that's got a half-decent brain on his shoulders. I mean, you can't do it. I mean, look, there are mass shootings that happen in every other country in the world where it is extremely hard to acquire a weapon of any kind. Well, you'll get thrown in jail forever for carrying a pocket knife with you. Yet those mass shootings still happen. Yeah, it's a whole hell of a lot easier in the United States. And look, I'm not going to gloss it over. And anybody who is pro-gun just basically has to admit this at some point. It's like, yeah, the occasional mass shooting, the occasional bad deed of guns, that is part of the price you have to pay for the freedom to access them, like we have here.
Yeah, and it is, and I don't, you know, somebody just wrote in about it, but I'm kind of like guys, you know, background checks, no big deal, you know. Somebody had asked me a couple of weeks ago about, well, you know, what happens if you're one of your friends or one of your family members calls in and you get your gun taken away? I said, well, I think they shouldn't just come take it. I think they should do an investigation and find out. I mean, you know, that's kind of seems a little on the illegal side there. That's like pre-crime. I don't think that's technically legal. So most of that can be challenged. And if you got a decent lawyer, I think you win that. But and I think, you know, parents or friends or family should call in if somebody's going hack ass crazy with a gun. They should. Get it on videotape. That way, they don't need investigation. You know, shit. Look, no, he's lying. Look, see what he was doing. Yeah, see what she was doing. Just in case y'all know, guys, there's a lot of women out there with guns. They may equal the guys these days. Actually, every woman I know carries a gun.
Well, man, down here in Texas, you just kind of assume that
Everybody got a gun.
only the dumbass, like fucking loudmouth idiots with all their Sig Sauer fucking bumper stickers on their truck, you know, open carrying outside their pants and shit for the whole world to see, wearing a fucking Glock hat and, you know, all kind like NASCAR, just like gun teams just sponsored a NASCAR. You know,
No,
you know, the reason I carry a gun a lot of the time is because of people like that. They wear it, carry it like it's a chip on their shoulder, and it's like, oh no, you are going to listen to me and respect my opinion because I got the means to kill you and everybody else right here. I'm
yeah.
that guy with a little semi-automatic 22 tucked in his back pocket that says, guess what, buddy, you ain't that fucking special.
Goodbye. Yeah, no, it's I don't know, it's kind of strange these days. And Glenn, no, I carry mine. I don't. Sometimes I carry it only. Sometimes I carry it in my car. Sometimes it's in the house. Well, that's one in the house, one in the car. But it just depends. Right now, I got a 9 and 235. No, three. I'm going to say 9mm again. 2 380s. Yeah, all three of them are automatics. No, you 35s only get 6 shots. My 9's got 14. So you gotta watch out. And I'm diddly with the bitch. I kill you running down the street, good.
Well, see, I'm just going to put it like this. I'm not going to sit here and advertise what I have or don't have. It's more of a fuck around and find out kind of thing.
Well, that's true too. And somebody, you know, I wouldn't, you never know what I'm carrying. So, and I'm thinking about buying me like a 45 this year. I used to have a nice 45, but the only reason I shooting. Oh no, actually, I wanted to go back to Reese. Actually, dude, I've been stopped in Texas and had a gun on me. So I got stopped for speeding in Wichita Falls, Texas. I was like, where? Because I thought that was in Oklahoma. What did I know? So anyway, they pull us over. Jason's buddy Joe was with me. And they do the whole 9 yards. He said, you got a gun? I said, well, yeah, I got a gun. He said, really? Because I had New York plates on the car, so I was a little nervous. I said, yeah, I got a gun. And when I handed him my license, he said, oh, you from Louisiana? I said, yeah, it's a rental, dude. He's like, oh, really? Well, by this time, he'd already been going into ass mode. So he hands me my license back. He said, I ain't going to write you a ticket. I'm like, oh, shit. So then he goes, and can I go get your gun out? I'm like, yeah, sure. So he goes and he gets the gun. He's carrying it like this. So where's my camera? It's like on top of my hand. He's walking like this. I started laughing. And he's like, well, and I'm like, no, dude, it just kind of looked funny. He said, this thing ain't hot or nothing. I said, no. He says, loaded. I said, it's got a full round clip and it's nothing in the chamber there. And I said, I don't trust that gun when I'm driving down the highway on bumpy road. I blow a whole fire in a damn car or something. And you know, because, you know, some states it's illegal to have one chamber. A lot of states it's not, but a lot of states it is for some reason. So I never understood it. If you're going to own a gun and you're going to be traveling with it, it should be loaded because, you know, you might have to shoot somebody.
No, if you're going to own a gun and you're going to be traveling with it, I mean, you definitely need to know the laws of every state you're going
to. You do.
P's and Q's. It's like, you can take your 9mm with you in California if you're driving into California. But if you've got 100 rounds with you, it's illegal to import ammunition from outside the state into the state. And then again, where is the gray area on that line? Do the rounds you have in your magazine count as importing ammunition? Say you have an extra box. Say you've got an extra case of rounds. I mean, where?
Actually, I'm gonna tell you what they told me when I was because I brought my 9 out with me a couple times. I've actually flown with it a couple times. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second. They told me that I can't carry any ammo and that I have to buy it there. So I said, well, wait a minute. I said, so I'm driving. I said, when did I think about flying? So I'm driving across Texas. I'm going to have my gun loaded. driving across New Mexico and Arizona, I'm definitely gonna have my gun loaded. So I get to Cali, or get to Nevada, I get to Cali, I'm like, oh wait, I gotta go throw like 100 rounds of bullets away. I said, that just seems dangerous. I said, where am I gonna throw them at? I said, do y'all have like a disposal place? And the guy's, he's one, nobody's ever asked that before. I said, well, you just told me I can't bring my bullets into your state. So he said, probably if it was loaded and you had one box, they would probably be okay with that. Now, if you come in there, with like 5 boxes, you're going to jail. You got to buy your ammo there. And by the way, so y'all know this, you cannot fly on any airplane with a loaded gun. You can't have any bullets with you because they store them under the thing where there's no pressure and they could ignite. They say they could ignite the bullets, whatever. So anyway you travel, like I went to Vegas last time, I had my guns with me. I had to go buy ammo as soon as I got off the plane. Don't think I'm going to Las Vegas without a gun because it's not because of Vegas. No, I ain't worried about Vegas.
Well, then again, what are you going to do when the situation is like right now and you can't find any fucking ammo anymore?
That's the thing. And well, you know what? I actually, while we were in flight, I searched to find out where I could go get it from. And right now there's an ammo shortage. You got to be careful with that. It's not as easy to find right now as it usually is. I see signs all the time.
I actually got lucky last month, and I happened to be in Walmart right before they closed, right when they had the pallets out of the truck and out there on the floor. And I was able to buy 1,600 rounds worth of 22 long rifle. And me and like 4 other people that just happened to be walking by sporting goods when the truck came in got lucky. But I mean, that was just like winning the fucking lottery nowadays.
Well, it is. It's rough because you'll see like a lot of the local stores down here when you go by, they'll say either out of ammo or have plenty of ammo because it goes back and forth all the time. You never know which one it is. A lot of the big sporting places, like Joe went to go get him some more. They're calling rips. It's for its Glock, and he's got a 16-round Glock, but they call them rips. They're diddly looking little bullets. People, you do not want to get hit by one of these things. It is going to mess you up if it hits you. So he's like me. He likes, because even in my guns, I'll have one hollow point and one regular bullet. I'll just rotate them. It's an old habit because in the old days, guns automatically used to like to jam a lot. So if you did it that way, they wouldn't jam. Today, it's just a habit. So. And the solid rounds carry a little farther too. So
well, hell, Joe, I'm kind of thinking about like getting us kicked off of YouTube again and actually showing my little pistol that I carry with me most of the time.
It was funny because there's a couple times I've had the gun out. Matter of fact, we were messing around in camera one night, 3 of us. It's weird. You never know what's going to set them off because like all Kathleen said one night was something about getting her shot, not getting her shot for COVID. And they told them that was medical disinformation and kicked that show off, hit us with a strike too. And you just and then of all people, Richard and Karen Dolan were talking about 9/11. This is an old video. This video has been up for God, I don't know, a long time. We've had this archive for at least 15 years. It's been on YouTube for at least 5. And we got a strike for it. They said it was hate speech.
Yeah, man. But I mean, yeah, maybe
come on, Karen and Richard Dolan hate speech, and that's not even a possibility.
Man, I mean, I'm not defending any of that stuff, but like, it's like the entire national like conversation on all that shit is basically changed now. I mean, back 15 years ago, 20 years ago when we were starting this network, I never figured that any controversial crap or any of those, and yeah, I'm going to pick a side here, any of those conspiracy theorist idiots would ever possibly get fucking mainstream. And then you've got politicians and senators and congressmen up to presidents validating their stupid shit. I mean, goddamn, man.
Because they fall for the press. Right now, the biggest problem in the country isn't the politicians, it's the media. And the media want control. They got so scared under Trump that right now they're just shaking because here come Trump and they thought, all right, Trump, we'll tear up Trump, and everything they did backfired.
Nah, man, nobody in the media was scared of Trump. Trump was the greatest thing.
Trump was killing. He almost bankrupted CNN.
Dude, no, he didn't, dude. Have you like seen like the latest viewership polls of all the news networks? I mean,
they're all down, but that's not what I'm talking about. CNN was the like lowest rated.
Train wreck every day. Now that
CNN lost viewers
back to normal, no one cares.
Yeah, but
they love Trump. They wish he would get back in the spotlight.
Yeah, they did because it gave him something to talk about, but it didn't help CNN any. They were on their way out because he always said CNN's fake media, fake news, fake media, fake news. And that hurts. When the president of the United States calling you fake media and fake news, that hurts. You can say what you want, but it's going to hurt you in your business. Because even most people, unless you're just a complete hate Trumper, you're gonna be like, well, maybe he's right. I mean, come on, that's all they ever talk about. And
Well, no,
we
Joe,
heard for
this
a
is the
full year.
problem. Nobody wants an objective truth anymore. They want to be told what they want to hear. Man, like that New York Post writer who just had to quit because she said she was told to write that fake story that, oh, they're giving every kid that comes into the border detention facilities Kamala Harris's book, which was just the made up, stupid fever dream conspiracy shit. And it's being ran in okay, the Post isn't that fucking credible, but at least a recognized national fucking outlet. I mean, that's how bad it's gotten. It's not just one side or the other. I mean, that's probably one of the worst things that ever happened. One of the worst side effects of the internet is you can get caught in a complete and total echo chamber circle jerk where basically fringe shit is all that you become exposed to, and you have no other perspective or no other grasp of reality whatsoever.
Yeah, it gets insane. I mean, it's
Come on, man. That's why I can't even come on half of these shows anymore, because I want to tell half of your hosts how ridiculous stupid they are. But I mean, I ain't gonna do that to you.
Yeah, well, yeah, everybody's got their opinion, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on. And I tell people all the time, whoops, where'd that come from? Sorry about that. I was clicking the wrong thing, apparently.
Well, Joe, this is the weird thing of it. All that fringe craziness shit we've seen following, the fringe and paranormal communities. It's like that was more or less contained to those specific little subgenres. But now that kind of paranoia and fucktardedness has gone mainstream. And I'm not shitting you, dude. I'm genuinely worried about this country. It's not just the kooks on the right. There are kooks on the left, too. I mean,
it's crazy. It's whatever side you're on right now, you got. But I've been talking about this for about 15 years now. I noticed this started. Reagan had kind of shifted things a little bit, and then Clinton came in, and Reagan and Clinton both did decent jobs as presidents, but they kind of set a particular thing in motion. And then after that, the next idiot. I mean, well, I shouldn't say next idiot, but Daddy Bush. He just got us into a war, and kind of just to distract everybody. And then we got then we got Clinton for 8 years, and then we got Baby Bush, who was just, I don't even know what to say about Baby Bush. He was just in a daze, in a fall. And then, he had a rough start.
What I genuinely think about George W. Bush is, I think he would be cool if he was my neighbor and came over for my barbecues and beers and stuff like that. But what I think about George W. Bush is I genuinely think he's a guy that meant well. He knew he was in over his head. He was told that his advisors were the best that there were, and he didn't kind of realize that they were fucking things up until it was already too late. That's what I genuinely feel about Bush. And the way I feel about Obama is I wanted to buy into that, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, it's time for some fundamental change and shit. And I think he might have been, genuine about that. But once he got into office and realized the way that, like Michael was saying, the way the machine works, there's nothing you can do to fight it.
Well, no, you can fight it. You just got to be willing to take the heat for it.
I think he was kind of like a combination of a total asshole and that dog chasing the garbage truck that finally caught the garbage truck.
Well,
now we had
but see, that was the problem. Well, that was the problem with Trump. They figured if Trump got another 4 years, he might actually get rid of some of this, and he probably would have. Reagan did. He managed to get rid of some of the corruption, and so did Clinton. But none of the other presidents since then have. And presidents like Obama and Baby Bush kind of encouraged the corruption. Trump was corrupt when he came in, but Trump wouldn't care about that. Trump wanted to say, look, I'm the asshole. I don't like you politicians. I've been giving y'all millions of dollars for 30 years. I ain't got nothing out of it. He wanted some revenge. And he got a lot of it. He probably got more if he'd got another 4 years. But he just was insane. It's not that, and no, John, I seen what you wrote. It's not that. It's not that I don't think Trump didn't do some good stuff. I did. There's a lot. He really turned the economy around. He strengthened the country in some areas it needed to be, but he was insane. If what, I might have voted for Trump if he'd have been a little less what's the word I'm looking for? Boisterous. That's a polite one, I guess. I just look. I hate to say it. One thing you can say about Obama, he had a little class. He might not have been good for the country, and he might have drove it down in the ground, and he did add double, quadruple the debt, but still, He did have
Yeah, I
plans.
genuinely think Obama was about
He got
average,
screwed
middle of
by
pack
design.
for all of the presidents that
Yeah, you're probably right. He
been
is,
around
I agree.
during my lifetime.
No, I think he's about average. I don't think he was. I think he had his personal agenda, and of course he couldn't get his personal agenda done because the liberals had their own agenda, and that's what they were driving. But and he got unfortunate because he had the same problem Bush did. He listened to the wrong people early on, and it hurt him. That's why he lost the next election. The first midterm election he lost the House. The next election where he won the presidency, he lost the Senate. He never got it back. He was basically lame duck for 6 years. It's just not much he could do except do executive orders. That's why he did so many. And seeing that just shows you right there how dysfunctional the system is. And then this thing about this 51 vote thing. I think everything that goes through the Senate should be 61 votes. I don't think it should be 51 votes. I don't think just because you won the extra vote, you should be deciding the fate of the country. I think you should have to be bipartisan to decide the fate of the damn country and all the things.
No,
But
what
it's
I
not going to
genuinely
happen.
think, what one thing I think ought to genuinely change, which will never happen, is you should be able to eliminate a law with a simple majority, but you would need a super majority to enact a new one.
Yeah, and I agree.
Because I mean, man, it's like all these like knee-jerk reaction bills to everything else. Like, there's a stupid bill going through the Texas Senate, founded by some far-red GOP assholes who are trying to prove that they're the hardest and the most Republican, right? Trying too hard is another one of the major problems that's going to end our race if it ever ends. But it's like, this bill was basically like they wanted to like tax and penalize the hell out of wind and solar producers if they ever went below what they were supposed to produce. When, I mean, they're still carrying the narrative lie that it was wind and solar that caused the power outages. No, the natural gas lines fucking froze. The plants were not winterized, and actually solar and wind damn near met their projections. It was coal and fucking gas-fired plants that went offline. But these dumb hicks want to, basically enact legislation to punish wind and solar when it wasn't even their damn fault. I'm telling you, man, every time my electricity so much as blips, if I wake up and I find my microwave clock is blinking, I get pissed because our kilowatt hour rates are not competitive here either.
I was listening to the solar report the other day. I was listening to the wind and solar report the other day, and I was thinking about Texas, and I'm thinking Texas could have been the state that showed the country how to do it, but instead they showed the state what not to do, the country what not to do. I didn't, I gotta be honest, Jason. I really thought as a state they would have been way more prepared. I guess because it never gets that cold in the lower part of Texas.
No, Joe, exactly what happened. That is what happens when you let vital industries regulate themselves. I mean, and that is the moral of the fucking story here.
I know.
Look, man, there was like a freeze in 1989 where capacity was almost shut down. The recommendations were, winterize, simple as hell. Same thing happened in 2011. Winterize. The state's like, oh, we've got these new winterization guidelines, but they were not enforced. It was a mandatory self-compliance thing. And I mean, well, it's one thing when you are a public utility and when your services go down and people die. I think you should be held to a little bit more than standard consumer standards,
Well, you should be. And you should be. Everything should, I'm not against regulation. Somebody said, oh, Trump put all these regulations, Obama put all these regulations. Look, some regulation should be there, people. Let's just be honest about it. You cannot trust these big power companies, these big gas companies, these big chemical companies to do the right thing. You don't take my word. Just look at the past. They've all been in trouble. Everybody has. Cutting corners here, cutting corners there.
Exactly, Joe. How many people have some weird cancers living up and down the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast
and they do it.
Refineries?
I mean, Louisiana's got one of the highest cancer rates in the country, and it's all because of where they live. There's big whole cities that are basically refined. Don't look, and it's bad in Louisiana. It's worse in Texas. They basically Texas, southern, what would be the southern east coast of Texas.
There is actually kind of a racial and income-based angle to that too, because Who lives right next door to that chemical plant? It's not a high income neighborhood. I'll just leave it at that.
No, it's going to be low end or
It's
workers
going to
for the
be
plant.
it's going to be people that are probably hovering near the poverty line anyway. Probably a lot of people on public assistance, welfare, social security, whatever. I mean, man, poor people can't afford a lobbyist, but that big ass petrochemical company can.
Yeah, he can afford more than one, and they're going to have permission to dump lots of money on stuff.
He's already got senators in his back pocket.
It is. Well, you know, that was one of the things that cracked me up when Trump won, because nobody thought he was going to run. Stephanie and I talked about it for a year, or actually for 16 months. And, you know, and the first thing comes out of his mouth, well, he said, I own every one of these senators. Every one of these people I've given money to. Every one of them have taken money from me. And he started listing off names, including Nancy and McConnell and the whole rest, and none of them said no, he didn't. So I was kind of like, so wait, we got a president in office who's paid off the House and the Senate. The whole thing just sounded like, really, man? I think there's something wrong with this whole picture. But you know, I just don't even understand the politics in our country anymore. Somebody asked me
What I
about
don't
Obama.
understand is how anybody can buy into one party or the other. I mean, how can you be
Well, you
forced
can't.
into that ideological jar?
Well, you can't because it's too hard. You know, somebody asked me the other day, were you red or blue? I said, neither. I said, sometimes I can lean a little red, sometimes I can lean a little blue. It just depends what we're talking about. I said, if we're talking about guns, I'm probably leaning a little red. I said, if we're talking about women's rights, I'm probably leaning a little blue. I said, if we're talking about the economy, it depends. I can go either way on that one. Sometimes I go red, sometimes it just depends who's in office on that. When it comes to money, I had no doubt that Trump was going to turn the economy around. I told everybody in the beginning he was going to do it quickly if he got in because that's what he does. Somebody goes, well, he had 4 bankruptcies. I said, yeah, out of 104 companies, he had 4 bankruptcies. I said, come on, guys. Any way you look at that, that's an outrageous success rate. And he had a TV series that had high ratings. I'm thinking, no, guys, that's not what.
Yeah, but here's my whole thing about
him.
Trump. He was a pompous asshole that was basically a caricature of 80s greed.
Yep. I have
he
to
didn't
agree
make
with that
his own fortune. He got it from his daddy. I don't care what anybody fucking says.
Oh, he got the money to make his fortune.
Start with money, you stay with money.
Well, I agree with
there's
that.
No upward mobility here. There's no
there was upward mobility
story there.
He went from 100 millionaire that the money he got from his daddy to billions. But you don't have no Jeff Bezos money. No, he said he had 9 billion. I'm thinking he got 2 or 3 billion. Nobody questioned that he was a billionaire. Not even the news media's done. The argument was always between 4 and 9. Yeah, so no, yeah, he did that, and he had a knack for certain things like stupid television or real estate. Casinos, he did not have a knack for. All 4 of his casinos went. But his DC hotel is doing good.
Some shady shit too. That whole Trump University
that was shady, and the way he handled his contract.
Come on.
It was a pyramid scheme. But fortunately for him, he was only one of the donators. He wasn't the main guy. He lucked up on that. They almost got him on that.
He didn't have any problem putting his fucking name on it and taking money, though, did he?
Nope. And he ain't going to. It's the kind of guy he is. He's going to definitely, if you're going to give him free money, he's definitely going to take it. Maybe did he change? Oh, you mean 2024? Yeah, he said he's running. I'm not even going there, dude. I have no idea. If he puts his name in the hat in 2023, I will be on the air for the whole year talking about it. Oh, yeah. Along with that, who do I think is going to be the next president of the United States? I don't think it's going to be Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. If I had to pick somebody right now, I think it probably, if he runs, the governor of Florida would probably win. Right, he's got an extremely high approval rate of both with Republicans and Democrats. They think he did a great job in Florida. Hardly no old people died in that big, massive estate he lives in.
No, not after the Florida voting rights bill. He done put himself in bad graces with about half of the country over that shit.
No, well, we'll see how it goes. No, last I heard, see, that's what bothers me about this. So I seen the New Texas thing, the Georgia thing, and the Florida thing. They're nothing compared to the northern votes and rights. They're not even near. All 3 are still going to give you portable places to go vote. You can still do mail-in voting. The only thing is they're going to require an ID. Vermont and Kentucky, they don't do none of that. You can't do that. You can't go vote somewhere like that. You can't go drop it in a box somewhere. And up there, they don't want you overseeing the count. Down here, they do. It's a big difference in rules. That's what I'm saying. That's what Biden got in trouble for. Biden jumped on the Georgia law, and when they actually read the law, and he found out, oh, wait a minute, I effed up. It's not a restrictive law. It's actually a more open law. Only thing Georgia didn't want to do, all the southern states want to do the same thing, just like the Heartland do. They want voter IDs. We have
No,
seen
man,
too
look, which
much.
one is it? Yeah, that one is Georgia, where it's like, oh, it's a felony if you start handing out fucking water and
Oh, the
drinks and
water.
shit to
No,
people in line for
actually,
voting.
that's not
That's
exactly
just some
true.
petty. That's just
No, no,
some
no.
petty bullshit right there.
That's not what they said. What they said was you, as a party, can't give out water or food. Now, if you want to hire a vendor to come do it that has no political views, they have no problem with that. But they don't want a political barter handed out, vote for Biden, vote for Trump. They don't want none of that going on. They said it's illegal and unconstitutional. And I agree with that. But
Yeah,
telling
but
somebody they
nobody's
can't give out water or
doing that.
food, that's stupid.
And besides, who runs and administers the elections anyway? It's members of one party or the other.
Well, it's
That
supposed to
would
be
be
members
who
of
would be
both
doing it
parties.
anyhow.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be members of both parties. You're supposed to have actually supposed to have representative of at least three. So you should have a Republican, a Democrat, and somebody else. And because you're supposed to have neutral, because that's what happened in 5 of the states that were under contested, where there wasn't proper things. Now, actually, Mark, there's. Oh, you know what? I don't know. I have to look. Well, hold on. Let me go back to state. We'll come back to that. So right now, there's Ohio. There's 4 states that are reviewing the laws. 3 states where originally they said what they did was legal. Now they said was illegal. It doesn't matter. Even if Trump gets all 5, but 4 is all he needs. Actually, 3 might be enough, but it's not going to matter. Nobody's going to overturn the election. It would take it out. Even if they proved it. Okay, I agree. Now that the judges ruled on this and said this was unconstitutional, was illegal, that they could not change the voter thing without the Senate ruling on it, that's fine. But that's not going to get him taken out. I mean, any way it goes, Biden still won 85 million votes. And so, yeah, you can take those 3 states away, and it may put them in a dead heat. But you're going to have to it's going to take more than that.
Well, you know what a big part of all that stupid Trump vote recount, still trying to fight and steal the election shit is? It's like they're just butthurt because they fucking lost. And how could they expect him to win? He's a fucking asshole. What did they expect?
Well, I don't see none of that makes a difference to me. The fact that 4 states changed their rules a week before the election without going through their House and Senate, which is illegal, those votes should have been null and void for both of them. Shouldn't have mattered. They should have not been counted. They cheated.
Yeah, well, it's unprecedented. You're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. That's never really happened.
In this well, no, I don't think they should even take
set up drop boxes.
You know, I don't think it's not that. You can't you can't be bringing votes in at certain hours without anybody being there, which they did that a lot. There's lots of stuff that went on that they've proved now that was illegal. But in the beginning, because the election was over, they wanted to give it to Biden. That's the way they went, which I don't even have a problem with that. My problem here was, and I said this from the beginning, if the Democrats cheated, they cheated better than the Republicans did. That's why they won. So be it. And, to me, that's part of the game. Trump, you knew they were going to cheat. Why weren't you paying attention? So I don't personally have a problem with that. I do have a problem with we allow states to get away with things that they shouldn't, because it doesn't matter what side you're on in this, because next election, this might happen to the Democrats.
The problem that I have with all of it is that there are people on both sides that are perfectly willing to cheat and would have no moral qualms with it.
We know this. Thanks to Obama, we found out, and I got to give him credit for this, in his second term, after he won the second term. So we found out in places like New York, Pittsburgh, Connecticut, there was 11 states. These people were just driving through each state and voting. I mean, they would go to like 12 different precincts in each state and vote. They were literally casting 2, 3. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's not enough to turn a presidential election. It is enough to turn a local election, mind you, but not.
Well, no, Joe, you're kind of full of shit on that, because a lot of that Obama era stuff was based on like
no. This is stuff Obama released.
Stats by what the fuck was that thing called? Their voter irregularity list.
No. Obama,
they were just making up names. And if your name was like Chang or Rodriguez or Jackson or sounded ethnic, there were a whole lot more of those than Smiths and Zimmermans and shit.
No, but Obama did a voter regulation thing. He
interstate cross-check. That was the system that was the private system that all the red states were trying to jump into.
Well, I don't know about all of that.
Just a made-up list.
I have no idea what that's about, but. I noticed guys.
No, Joe, I remember all this shit. You can't pull one over on me, man.
No, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know anything about that. It's I really don't. It's not something I think I've even paid attention to.
Well, here's the other thing that I noticed about this whole interstate cross-check thing. It was only really published by a journalist called Greg Palast.
But that's not what I'm talking about. Look, Obama put out an official.
when all this was going on, Palas got someone to leak him like the data files on the names, and he basically gave them the list in the database. He had, I mean, and yeah, there was some really nasty, you could tell, definitely racist, fucking slanted shit that was trying to exclude certain people and making it harder for them to vote.
That's not what I'm talking
about. No, here's the thing, Joe. I'm not done yet. He had it dead to rights. He had the list. You'd think Fox News would have picked up that story and ran with it because it would have made Obama look bad. No, they didn't. CNN and MSNBC never picked up this story because they're part of the fucking system too.
They are part of the system. It's all a game, and they're part of the system. But that's not even what I was talking about. Obama had put out a list. He actually didn't put out a list. They did a recommendation because they had found out in both elections that they figured in the first election about 2.5 illegal people voted that shouldn't have voted. And in the second election, closer to 3. That currently estimation right now for the last election is around 4 to 5 million people who voted illegally. By the way,
that's a fucking lie, Joe. That is a fucking lie.
No. So California, wait on, Jason, let me finish. I'll let you finish, Jason.
Of all voters
let me finish. So California already proved
you're an alien illegally here in this country. You are going to risk your fucking freedom and being deported.
California already proved
one asshole or the other could get in.
Dude, one of the things the governor's in trouble for is 1.3 million illegals voted in the last election in California. They proved it. He can't even deny it. It's over and done with. And wait, it was even worse than that, Jason. They caught Democrats picking them up and bringing them places to vote like they do with the black population, the elderly black. They were doing the same thing with the illegal Latinos. It ain't, you can argue all you want, but it's a fact. And it's not just that. There's several groups.
No, that is not a fucking fact.
And Texas was talking about this just recently. Your own state was talking about the illegal voting problem they have in their state of up at least 100,000 illegal votes on last.
And that's a goddamn lie because Texas is full of redneck blowhards that are afraid of Mexicans. That's the truth about a lot of it.
Well, maybe they are, but it doesn't matter. They still voting. They still get voting.
There are not.
So wait, Jason. So we got right now currently in this country
those numbers don't
16 million illegals, and you don't think any of them voted, right? No, come on, Jason. 16 million illegals, and you don't think any of them voted, right? Get the hell out of here, dude. What are you smoking some better than voted? They definitely voted, dude. Especially the ones that have been here more than 4 or 5 years. They're voting every damn election. They're collecting Social Security. They're getting benefits and unemployment and every other damn thing. Don't ever fool yourself on that.
No,
I personally see it every day.
That bullshit. If
I see it every day, Jake.
Social Security card, you don't exist to this country and you don't get shit. Yeah, and no illegal person is going to risk their freedom to vote for some asshole.
Now you're telling me that illegals don't have Social Security cards. You better go check up on that, my friend. You can get a Social Security card if you're illegal.
Yeah, if you've got a work visa and you got here fucking legally.
No, you can get one. Under the amnesty program, you've been able to do that since Clinton. I don't know where you've been, dude. You better catch up. There's lots of ways illegal.
If you were in under the amnesty program, that means you were granted legal fucking entry.
No, not the amnesty program. No, not the amnesty program. The whatever Clinton called it, or not actually Obama called it, the Dreamer program. Sorry. Under the Dreamer program, you can get your Social Security, you can vote, you can collect benefits. And now, last I heard, that was 11 million people.
So under the Dreamer program, yeah, if you were a kid that was drug here, and this is the only
you're still illegal. You're still illegal, and you still
give them the chance to be Americans.
But they're not. They're still illegals. They never go become legal citizens. That's why it's 11 million.
Of this, if you were willing to travel from whatever shithole you're into with your entire family, literally walking for thousands of miles to try to give yourself and your family a better fucking chance at existing, then I say welcome to the United States of America. That's all there is to that shit.
I said get your ass out of my country, go back to yours, and come here legally.
Then I'm saying take your Montaldo, Italian sounding ass back to fucking Italy.
But I came here legally, so it's that's the point. Come here legally. Because none of the people here legally, that Mexican or any other race for that matter, appreciate you coming here illegally. It's one of the biggest things that came up in the last 2 elections. They're anti-illegals. So if you're Hispanic and you're living in this country, you came here legally, most of them do not like the idea of illegals voting.
No, the whole thing is you've just got to reform the whole immigrant situation. I mean, this is what trips me out is Biden is still keeping the fucking Trump era refugee number at like either 15 or 16,000.
What are you talking about? Biden's got 4 times as many people down there as Trump ever had.
No, I'm
That's what.
talking about the number of fucking lottery slots that are
Oh yeah,
available to
yeah,
get in
yeah.
legal.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they're not going to raise that either. Not anytime soon.
I'm like,
It's
look, if you want to work, make it fucking easy for somebody to get a work
see,
permit and come
but
over here and legally
this
work.
has always been my point. So we're going to be taking in what 1 million, 2 million refugees a year, and that are uneducated, don't have any skill sets. So what bothers me about that is why aren't we
Wait,
taking in
Joe,
2
what do
million
you
people a
mean
year?
uneducated and don't have a skill set? Do you know how
Dude,
hard
have you
these
been
people
to?
have? Joe, do you
Have
know
you
how
been to the
hard
southern border?
do you know how hard somebody at the bottom has to work and fucking hustle just so him and his family
Doesn't
can
matter.
goddamn survive?
Doesn't matter. My point is they're not helping America. They're a drain on the country. Why can't we take in people that actually help our country and help it grow? There's lots of people who want to come here legally that have college degrees and other degrees that really want to become part of our country, not a burden on it. They don't want to be on the system. They want to be part of the country. It irritates
Joe,
me.
here's the whole problem with your thesis. Not everybody can be a chief. You need
You
chiefs
don't have
and
to be a
fucking
chief.
Indians to make the
It
village
doesn't
work.
matter. It doesn't matter. They still coming here legally. You have people who want to come here legally. It's been harder and harder and harder because of the amount of illegals we come in. They counterbalance the system out, and it's hurting the country.
Coming here illegally for a chance that they'll be the lucky one that the system picks up.
I think I got to be honest with this. I think Trump had it right. I think you should be held in Mexico and screened. And if you should be in our country, we allow you to come in with your family and your kids and everybody else. No big deal. But if you're a criminal, a crook, someone dealing drugs, a moose, anything like that, no, you shouldn't be allowed in here. Right now, we're letting everybody in. Doesn't matter who you are. And that's what happened last time. And all we got was a bunch of people who want to kill us, rape us, and pillage us. Anytime we get massive, and what's great about this, it's so easy to prove. All you got to do is watch the amount of refugees that come in and the amount of crime in the areas where they go. It proves itself. It's kind of like when Merkel decided to let in 1 million Muslims into the EU and their rape cases went up 400%. Granted, a lot of these people deserve to be here. I'm with you on that, Jason. I think anybody who's willing to come here and work their ass off at whatever level they are, I'm good with that.
I mean,
that's not what we're getting.
Joe, just imagine you living in like a third world South American country where the dictator of the week is probably going to kill you anyway. Your child has no chance to live. Man, I have some sympathy for anybody that is willing to send their child into the United States just so they can hope that it'll get.
Yeah, but a lot of times that's not what actually is going on. I mean, most of the kids they've been catching lately have had tons of drugs strapped to them.
Most of the kids? No, Joe, not most of the kids.
Dude, they're fine. They're fine. No, dude. You better go read. They've been talking about this. Even the Democrats have been talking about this. So they're finding kids. Well, I shouldn't say kids. They're finding babies from like 1 to 4 years old, and they usually have a knapsack of drugs with them. This has been an ongoing thing now for a while. This isn't something new. It started just right when we switched over.
Are always going to try to get some shit in.
Yeah, but this is
nowhere near as widespread as you think it is.
In this country, down in the southern border, it is. The Border Patrol has already come out and talked about this.
And so somebody strapped some fucking weed into a baby's diaper.
They ain't strapping weed, dude. There ain't nobody sending weed to America anymore.
No, you find some contraband in a fucking toddler. What are you going to do? Charge the toddler?
They're probably sending in heroin or cocaine. But the thing is, you're just dropping a kid on the side of a road in the middle of a desert. I mean, really. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. It shouldn't even be something that's going on. It should be stopped long before it gets there. And it wasn't.
That's going on. But the world's a cruel goddamn
place.
But
the point is the last president. Yeah, but the last president put a stop to this. He had 5 countries set up, giving them money where they could stop, stay, put them up in refugees. So as soon as Biden did this, by the way, it quadrupled the number of people that boarded, and also Mexico, not Puerto Rico, 2 other countries took down their things and gave them tents. He said, well, your country's not paying. The country's not paying anymore. This is on you. Before that, they were being taken care of and being held and waited and having a chance to get in. Now they're just flooding our border, and we don't know who's getting in here. The Texas governor is losing his mind. I hear him every other day speaking about this. He's losing his freaking mind.
No, Abbott's a fucking blowhard that's trying to use the only leverage against all them fucking liberals, dude. Abbott is the biggest piece of shit.
But he's not the only one, Jason. You got the governor of New Mexico, the governor of Arizona, the governor of Nevada, the governor of Louisiana. Even the governor of Mississippi's bitching about it. The only governor that's not bitching about it is the one in California because he wants them. But the rest of the country's like, no. Texas is booming in a way it doesn't need the extra population right now. It just doesn't need it. What are y'all at? Almost 30 million now? 31 million?
Texas might be booming in population, dude, but it's like what we're losing with fucking oil right now is definitely not being made up by technology and fucking SpaceX.
I can't deny that. I can't even argue with that.
Yeah. So don't believe that hype, dude. I'm telling you the shit right now.
Well, I mean, the state's doing good. I mean, I've seen the financial reports on it recently. It's not. I mean, it's not like some of the other
Look,
states like
man,
California.
I've got oil under my property and actually have some of the fucking mineral rights. I mean, it'll never pay much because we've only got 30% mineral rights and shits, and then it gets subdivided so many times. But
Yeah.
it's like basically, dude, it's like nobody's little oil lease around here where they did some surveys and companies are just like buying them and sitting on them until the price of oil goes up. All of those leases have been let go, you know.
Yeah, because they get rid of them. So y'all are
I
at
mean, you know, I kind of
21
hate the
million,
fossil fuel.
Jason.
Look, this is my dilemma, dude. I kind of hate the fossil fuel industry, but I can get a shitload of money dropped into my lap, you know, if the oil prices ever do go up.
And they
And
will. They
even
will.
if I didn't want this oil being drawn off of my property, the deposit is over several other properties. Any one of those people could have the spigot put on their land and they would still have to pay me for it anyway. So, I mean, I really don't have that much of a choice in the matter.
So Chris
There's no
Ferguson.
individual involved in this that could say no, but we'd all still make money.
Yeah, well, that works out good. No, yeah, they got y'all at 29,144,505 people now. You forecast to break 30 million this year. May even get to 31 if the current growth rate stays. So Cali's going to drop about 3 million, so they're going to fall down to about 39. So this is forecasting Texas to pass. See, they had Texas passing California, but not for another decade, about 15 years. Now
And
it's
man,
saying
you
in
know,
less than 8
look,
years.
man, genuinely, I talk a lot of shit here in Texas, and of course, in Texas, our blowhards are going to have to be bigger, harder, fucking
Of
blowhards.
course they are. They're Texans, man.
But really, there's always
You don't
just
have
going to be
armadillos
that
that
guy.
steal beer trucks. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
and most of us Texans don't like that fucking asshole either.
I know. Oh, you know what? I just seen that. Hold on. You mean who's a person of color? You talking about in Texas? Texas is like 70% white. I go check, but I bet you money Texas is 70% white. That's how sure I am.
Yeah, Texas is pretty damn, especially once you get out
Whitey
into like
type.
the rural counties. I mean, it's pretty much like this county is pretty much like 80% white and votes 80%
Hold
GOP.
on, yeah, hold on. I'm gonna pull it up. So yeah, Texas is 70.4% white. So that's white. Now it's 11% black, almost 12% black. It's 10.5% Pacific Islander. Okay, I can understand if that means from south of the border, but that's not. I'm confused now.
No, Pacific Islander is like Guam, Oceania,
So,
fucking, you know.
okay, Jason, I don't know if I can trust this now because there shows no Hispanic population in Texas at all. It only shows 0.7% American Indian, which I would have thought would have been higher. It
No,
does
dude,
not
there's an
show
awful lot of
African
Hispanic people
American.
here in Texas, Joe. I don't know what kind of chart you're looking at,
That's what
but
I'm
remember,
saying. No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm not
this
arguing with you.
shit
I'm
was
agreeing with you.
Mexico for a long time before it was ever Texas.
So I'm gonna read. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna put it on the thing so we can see it right quick. Let's see. This something about this is screwy. Let's see. Current tab. That's one of the things I like about this thing. You just pop it on the screen and look at it. Okay, so we says 2010 U.S. Census racial distribution Texans was as follows: 74.4% of the population of Texas was white American. Okay, I don't know
Yeah,
why
Hispanic should be second, basically.
Okay, and then next is 11.8% African American. The next is 3.8% Asian American and 0.7% Indian American. The Native American, okay, American Indian, Native Hawaiian is 0.1%. Oh, wait, okay, so what's this 10.5% of the population where some races?
Well, man, then again, you might have to scroll down a little bit because a lot of the times in those surveys, they'll break up the Hispanic
Yeah, I think they got it. They must have
population
it.
out into its own chart, you know.
It's, see what? Detroit. What is the blackest city in America? Detroit. And number 2 is Gary, Indiana. Number 3 is Jackson, Mississippi. And number 4 is Chester, Pennsylvania. So,
well, man, can't nobody tell me anything about race? Because when me and my mom got here in the 80s, I mean, we were basically like the only Asians in this tiny little county, you know?
So
I mean, there were only like 2 Mexican kids there. It was basically everybody else was either white or black. And then it's like over the years, more Hispanics started moving into the area, and then, you know, they've been here since.
Mhm.
I mean, demographics really have changed a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, if you look at this, I mean, so if yeah, this is by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is black cities or African American cities. So you see the list. It's Detroit, Michigan, Gary, Indiana, Jackson, Mississippi, Chester, Pennsylvania, Miami Gardens, Florida, 76%. Orangeburg, South Carolina, 75%. Birmingham, Alabama, 73%. Albany, Georgia, 71%. Baltimore, Maryland, 63%. Memphis, Tennessee, 62%. New Orleans, 60%. Baton Rouge, 58%. Wilmington, 58%. Flint, 56%. Flint's where we had the fiery, disgusting water, right? Figures.
Yeah. And well,
Savannah, 55%.
speaking of that, man, what's kind of bugging me, it's like, it just seems like in the last 2 weeks, there's either been a fucking mass shooting or a cop killing a black person like every 2 fucking days.
Yeah, but you know, it's weird because we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Actually, we've got a couple of shows on this. So this started with Stephanie and I way back with Obama. We started going through. We went back all the way to Richard Nixon, and we started looking at shootings coming forward, right? And really, there wasn't that many until you got to Clinton, and then there wasn't that many with Clinton. I mean, he was 8-year president. There was like 2 or 3 a year, but not like 3 or more people. That's what I should say. So it wasn't horrible. And then Baby Bush came in, and he had a few less. And then Obama came in and set some on 162. 162 shootings under Obama. It was like, what the hell's going on here? And then Trump comes in and it drops back down to about 24. And now here's Biden. Biden's going to pass Trump before his first year's up.
Look, man, I'll tell you exactly.
This is spooky shit.
I'll tell you exactly where that shit came from, and I will start back in the Clinton administration. Mm-hmm. Clinton was basically where this polarization, great American divide, where half the country thinks the other half of the country is the enemy. It started under Clinton. That's when Rush Limbaugh and shit actually.
Yeah, you know why it started to try to get rid of that Reagan legacy. Reagan was just such a he was like a Kennedy to the country for some reason.
Yeah, the divide got much worse during Bush. It went ape shit during Obama. Yep, Trump did not help anything at all. I don't think we can stop it. And I think that's the reason amongst a lot of the violence and everything. I mean, this country's always had problems, but oh hell, I was watching some kind of sci-fi show and it had a quote, and I'm gonna try to roughly paraphrase it. And it's like basically, well, no, it wasn't sci-fi. I think it was something historical. It was about the Cold War, that without any type of real external enemy, Americans need an enemy. If there is no other threat, we will turn on ourselves and consider ourselves the threat.
And Jason got a valid point, people. So if you go back 20 years exactly, actually, if you go back 20 years, it's
gotten worse since the end of the Cold War, basically. We kind of came together around 2001 for the terror scare, but that lost its charm too.
So what happened is just before 9/11 happened, the country was where it is right now. It was tearing itself apart. It was pissed off. There was a big divide. Nobody was happy. And I don't know why, because Clinton was well liked. So I don't know why towards his end it got so nasty. And then, we were there, and then boom, 9/11 happened. And guess what happened after that? We all became big buddy friends again. It was 90% of the Congress voted to go to war. All the people behind him. His first 4 years was a cushion ride after. I mean, don't get me wrong. He had a couple. His first year was rough. I mean, he had the spy thing with China. He had to get our shit back from China without starting.
Oh shit, man! It's kind of like Babylon 5 when the warrior caste and the religious caste both want the same thing. May God help us all.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a tough first year on a guy. So I don't want to hate on Bush completely. I mean, he did have a hard start. And I hate to say this aloud, but if it wouldn't be for Darth Cheney, we might have been in more shit than we were actually in. Don't get me wrong, people. Darth Cheney's evil. Okay, and that's why I call him Darth Cheney, because he's evil.
No, dude, Darth Cheney really is Emperor Palpatine. That motherfucker's still pulling the strings, dude. He's still running some kind of fucking.
He's a scary SOB, man.
Well, Joe, just look at what happened to everybody that said, I want to pull out of Afghanistan. The military-industrial complex basically did not let Obama do that. Trump wanted to do it. They didn't let him do it. And now that Biden's saying he's going to do it 4 months after Trump said we should do it, dude, you were seeing a lot of pushback and all of the military talking heads
I know we
going
got
on all of the
I
fucking
know,
shows.
I know we
We've
got to
been there
go.
for 20 years for fucking what?
I know. It's
It's like, didn't we learn a goddamn thing from Vietnam?
we don't
Didn't
learn
we
anything
learn
to
a
Vietnam.
goddamn thing from the Russians' experience in Afghanistan?
Yeah, you would think, but as far as don't get me wrong, people. I don't know why we count this as a win, but we count Iraq and Afghanistan as a win. I'm confused. Iraq, I can kind of understand. Afghanistan, I just don't understand. It wasn't Vietnam because we didn't lose a bunch of people, but it was just an expensive nightmare for
No,
us.
Joe, this is as far as I will go into conspiracy theory, and it's not really a conspiracy because all you have to do is follow the money. What did Daddy Bush give us? Daddy Bush gave us a war, and the best kind of war. We went in, we kicked ass, we took names, we said, peace, bitch, we won, and we got the fuck out.
Yep, we
And
did too.
that really got rid of a lot of the stigma that we were still living under after the
From
loss in
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yeah. And people
Well, a
don't
lot of
ever
people
think
have,
we lost
well,
in Vietnam.
the
Don't think
people
we did.
making all of that shit that we used, during good old Desert Storm, where Schwarzkopf became the greatest hero that America had had since World War II, the people that made a lot of money off of that made a lot of money, and they're like, if we could do this all the time, I mean, all you got to do is look and follow the money. I mean, there is no reason for us to still have anybody deployed in Afghanistan. I mean,
No, we don't need
I
it.
will give Trump credit for one thing. He had basically, except for his trade war barb shit with China, he basically had a non-interventionalist international policy. He didn't get us into any more stupid fucking conflicts that we
No.
were in.
And he
And he tried
officially
to get
ended
us
the
out of a
Iraq war.
couple of them.
Yeah, he officially ended the Iraq war. He's the one who did it, and I did give him credit for the Syria thing. That was funny when they did that attack, and he said, "Really?" He said, "I warned you." He said, "I'm not a bomber. There's no line to cross." And then he launched a whole ship, what was a whole submarine full of missiles. I was like, "Yeah, I think they got the point, dude. Calm down." I never seen the president launch a whole ship full of cruise missiles before. I was like, "Yeah." But I will say this:
And
under
I'll
Trump,
give him credit for that, but then again, a broken clock is right twice a fucking
yeah,
day.
but I'll give Trump this. Once he was in for about a year, everybody calmed down. Kim Jong-un settled his ass down. Iran settled down. We started changing, and we didn't hear all this violent shit. Now here we are with Biden, just like under Obama. North Korea's over there building again. Iran's building again. Kerry's up, and people. I have no idea what the thing is with Kerry. I've heard 10 different stories about it. I've read all kinds of stuff from the New York Times, Fox, everybody. I don't know. Did he give secrets or Israel secrets to Iran? I guess that's for somebody to investigate because none of us are going to find out.
Well, even if he did, I kind of look at it like this. How many secrets have we slipped to fucking Israel over the years?
Oh, well, but we're supposed to be an ally, though. Israel's an ally. Iran is not an ally. We're supposed to give Israel stuff. I mean, we give them all kind of shit, missile defense shields and all kind of wonderful stuff. And I do agree with Trump putting the capital where it's supposed to be. They've been supposed to do it for 50 years. He said do it. But man,
hey, I think that you need to treat the Palestinians and the Gazans like human beings.
Yeah, wipe them out and move them on. Give them that piece of land. Just do, you know what I think they should do? The Palestinians just like they did the Israelis. I think they should do them the exact same thing. Israelis were forced to run around, finally get a little piece of land and build a country, and I think that's what they should do to Palestinians.
They've already got a piece of land, and it's shrinking every fucking day because Israel's taking it from them and occupying
because
it.
It was Israel's land. That's why Israel took it in the
So
Civil
then give
War.
your fucking property back to an Indian. It was their land before
They took it back. They took it in the 7-day war. The Israel thing's a hard thing because they technically weren't a nation in the beginning. They were a bunch of different nations, and they wanted to be their own. Which I understand, wanting to be your own nation. I'm fine with, not so much with a religious nation, but still, I'm fine with wanting to be. But you can't do it at somebody else's expense. You should have went and made some deals to get some land here and there and build you a nice country. And like Israel's not like it's a huge country or anything. It's the size of Louisiana. I don't know if it's that big. I know it's not huge. It's a little chunk of land over there that's worth fighting over. And they don't even have no oil or nothing in Israel. I mean, what the hell do they have?
Basically, that is the beef between the entire fucking Middle East and the entire Western world is that, yeah, thanks to us, we basically gave Israel a fucking army that came in and fucked them up.
It did, too. The 7-day war was an embarrassment for what? 6 countries, 5 countries? It was an embarrassment.
And you wonder why they hold a fucking grudge?
Yeah, it was bad. They rolled across some countries like they weren't even there, man. They were like, whoa. And, America made them give most of the land back.
The countries they were fighting basically weren't countries.
No, they really won. You know who
They were countries that had never had to fight a sustained war of any kind. You know, not since ancient history anyway.
Iran's evil power. I guess you could call them an evil power. I mean, they're just another country trying to make their religious country. You know, we're giving Israel. I mean, Israel's a religious country. Remember, their country's based on their religion. So I can't really hate on the Muslims doing the same thing. That would be just not right.
Well, man, I never said anything about it, and I haven't talked to her for years. But one of the ladies that used to come and visit the UFO, like the good old Power Talk days. One of the ladies that used to come in there that I was good friends with. She was actually living in Canada, and she was like an exiled member of like the old school Iraqi royal family, or like the government before Saddam came in and took over. So, yeah, man, I learned a whole lot about the whole Iranian situation, but I mean, why wouldn't they hate us, dude? We've been siding with their mortal enemy and breathing down their necks for like my entire lifetime.
Man. Well, it's weird, man.
And look what the CIA did. The whole thing with the Shah and all that bullshit.
Well, it's weird now though, because in the beginning we were fighting with everybody in the Middle East. Now it's just really Iran pretty much. And Iran's really not fighting with us. They're paying. It's a proxy war. They're paying.
Well, no, what's really going on right now in the Middle East is a three-way proxy war between the spheres of influence of Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Iran.
It's interesting is Trump got Saudi Arabia and Israel to cut a deal and become free. Not just them, Yemen. When somebody else was in it too, there was four of them all together. He got four countries that never worked together. I mean, there's flights going in and out of Israel to Saudi now. That's crazy shit, man.
Yeah, but the only reason that is happening is because both Saudi Arabia and Israel are playing the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing right now. They're both friends of the United States. They're both big friends of the United States. So it gives them a playing field, which is nice. It'll help stabilize the Middle East. As far as Iran goes,
no, it's not going to stabilize the Middle East, dude. It's just going to
yeah, it did. It already did. The only problem we got over there right now is Iran and Syria, and that's both the same thing. Everybody else is playing nice with each other.
Well, there's a bunch of problems, dude, like what's going on with Yemen right now. And quite honestly, we shouldn't be supporting what Saudi Arabia has been doing to Yemen.
Well, no, we shouldn't. But Yemen did some nasty stuff to us. That's probably why we do it. It's
No, the reason Yemen did some nasty Yemen didn't really do much to us. They're basically fighting the Saudis, but the Saudis are fighting them with with our weapons, and that's why they don't like us.
Oh yeah, we give them weapons. We don't care. We give everybody damn weapons. If Yemen had some money, we'd get him some weapons. We don't care. It's one of America's bad faults. Us and
Biden really needs to be like, look, I don't care if it costs us money, but if you're still going to be bombing schools and civilians and carpet bombing in Yemen, you're going to have to go buy those bombs from Russia or somebody the fuck else.
Yeah, they got.
That's what I would say.
I don't know, Jack. It's well, we got.
I mean, look what else is going on in the Middle East. I mean, Israel's basically because of our backing. Israel's got the impunity to bomb Iran whenever the fuck they feel like it, and they do.
Well, we want them to do that though, because in case we need them to go blow up a centrifuge or something like that. That's one of them things that I don't know how Biden feels about it, but both Obama and Trump used them for that. Biden everybody always said Obama was anti-Israel, but he did some pretty good things.
And again, I can't really fucking blame Iran for wanting their own nuclear weapons. I mean, goddamn, Israel's got nuclear weapons. You want to be at least on a level playing field. Can you really fucking blame them?
I don't know, Chris, if Saudi has.
And here's the whole thing about it, man, is a nuclear weapon is not that hard to make. It was figured out in the 40s, and anybody that doesn't have the formula can just science it out anyway. It just takes time to enrich uranium.
It does take time, but that's not as much the problem anymore as getting a missile that can actually get where it's going. That seems to be the bigger problem. Rocketry, even today, seems not to be an exact science. I mean, come on, even Elon Musk has blown up a couple of them.
Yeah, dude, but then again, rocketry is not that hard. If you've got private startup companies that can make fucking missiles.
I noticed that both China and North Korea have had major issues trying to get missiles to where they're supposed to go. Russia used to, but not anymore. Russia just built some massive missile the other day.
Dude, Russia has never had problems getting shit into space. They've always here's one thing.
No, I'm talking about getting them to targets.
No,
They've had time.
here's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize about Russians is their rockets are basically more powerful, superior to ours. Well, their engines are just hell. We still use RD-180s and their variants in like most of our American space-built spacecraft today. Elon doesn't use them, but United Launch Alliance and shit does. I mean,
Yeah.
look, man, they had to have bigger, better rockets because, well, quite frankly, they've got to launch farther north of the equator than we do.
They do.
Russia doesn't have a Brownsville or like Key West or the tip of Florida or anything like that. They didn't have the advantage of the
You know
radial
where they
motion,
should have
so
put
they
it?
had to make bigger, better rockets.
They
And
should have
did
figured out
that.
a way to put it up there in Siberia at the top of the planet. That might have made it a little easier for them.
No, that would make it actually harder, dude, because remember how slow it's rotating up there? You get no fucking rotational velocity. You want to launch from the equator. That's where you want to launch from.
I'm really actually surprised we never. Oh, I guess for security reasons we never got an island down there to launch from. Because there's places we could have went down there, but
Well,
I guess,
yeah, we got territories in the south.
Yeah,
I'm
just thinking that. Yeah, I'm just thinking that it might.
But Florida's good enough.
Yeah, well, Florida, the material's right there. Because I remember one time they had talked about using one of the islands in Hawaii, but they said it would be too hard to get material back and forth.
Well, yeah, you'd have to ship everything 5,000
or fly it in. It would be just a nightmare to do it, and it would have cost 5 times, and it was already outrageously expensive. Just ladies, we got to go, but so y'all know Elon Musk and well, you got SpaceX and Virgin Airlines, but anyway, you got 3 companies that are going to be putting people in space for tourists. Okay, now the first flights are about $1 million each. They said about the 4th round, it'll be about 100,000 each. They said by 2025, 2026, the average Joe should be able to take about an hour and a half trip to space for around 4 or 5 G's. So if you want to see, I can't say I've been in space, but I've been way up there. 78, enough that we had to have oxygen, and I kind of felt like I was about to float up the damn airplane. We had a rule in the Navy, and it's still a rule today. When you work on someone's jet, the first, especially if you're doing some major overhaul, you fly with them. First time out, the tech that worked on it flies with them.
If I can pay somebody $5,000 and they will take me and bring me to space and let me float around for a little bit and gook and gaw at the marble of the earth and then bring me back, hell yeah, I'll pay that.
Oh yeah, it'll be a couple of years for us. It's kind of like Starlink. It's going to take them a little while to get everything routed. But I know.
I bet Elon's got my $99 down, and I'm just waiting for Starlink to become for like this far south in Texas to join the beta project.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff going on, people. You've got 6, 7. I said this when I started hosting Wake Up USA 20 years ago. I used to say this all the time. If you want to see the space race boom, privatize. And thanks to these guys, they proved me right. What it took NASA 20 years to do, Elon's going to do it in 5. Not just that. I'm pretty sure Elon's going to Mars, people. I'm
going to complain about the space launch system right now. The SLS, the big rocket that NASA was going to make for the Artemis and like Mars missions and stuff like that. How over budget? That thing's like 15 years late, like multiple times over budget. And here's the thing about it, Joe. It is old technology that we figured out in the 80s. It is basically space shuttle fucking technology.
I think it's Apollo, to be honest with you.
No, Joe, it is space shuttle technology. The only difference they did was they took the shuttle off the back and they moved it up to the nose cone. They put the shuttle rockets on the bottom of the big external fuel tank and strap bigger fucking booster rockets to it. Joe, it is exactly shuttle technology.
That's just pathetic.
Why are they having so much of a hard time basically taking off-the-shelf components?
I'll tell you why. You want to really know why? Because all the good scientists work for Boeing and Lockheed and Elon Musk and Virgin Airlines and Sierra Nevada and places like that. Because they pay big money.
Dude, Boeing can't even get the crew module fucking working.
Well, actually, they lost the contract. Elon Musk got it. Wait, people. He didn't actually lose it. They're going to both be doing it. But Elon's going to space. He's already been to space station. And now he got the contract to go back to the moon, and he's going to Mars. This is a guy, I've been in a Tesla car. They're nice cars. I'm not going to lie. But I'm not as impressed as some of my liberal friends are with them. But they're nice cars. They're actually faster than you think they are. They get up and go faster.
If you weren't impressed, you must not have stomped it and felt a 6,000-pound vehicle get to 60 in like 2 seconds.
It got up and rolling. It wasn't like a muscle car or anything, but it was fast. The car would have probably did 140, 160, but the problem is, at the rate it burns electricity at that speed, your ass would have been walking in less than an hour. See,
Look, man, I'll say
my
electric
Camry
cars.
could go that speed for quite a long time, people.
I will say electric cars will be there, and I could actually use one if you can give me about 500-ish miles of range, running my AC or headlights at night or what the fuck ever.
I thought they
And
said
let
the
it charge
Tesla was
up.
400.
Let it charge up in 30 minutes or so. I can live with that. But, dude, the infrastructure, Texas can't even keep our houses warm. What the fuck? I mean, you're gonna have like those like level 3, level 4, like even more powerful, like
So
megawatt chargers and shit.
we got another
Right?
6 minutes. So first off, I mean Tesla. No, people, it's a nice car. I mean, it's not. It's still an electric car. And I was out talking to a friend of mine who owns one, and he's like, Jimmy's got one, and he's like, it takes a little longer to charge than I feel comfortable with. So what they do is now, a lot of the malls down here, the outdoor malls now have put Tesla fueling stations in. So when they go shopping, they plug it in. So if you shop for an hour, it's probably good for about a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half to get you, if we're talking tank wise. I thought he said his car got 440 miles to charge, which is the same mileage as my Camry gets on a tank, about 450 miles. The difference is, people, I can stop anywhere and fuel up and keep going. And I can do 100 in my car and still get 28 miles a gallon.
Well, see, man, that just proves that electric cars are almost there. You can drive cross country if you like hit supercharger to supercharger. I mean, the infrastructure is just not there yet. But
so this is what I would think. But no,
400 miles of range, unless I'm driving cross country, I'm good.
With the exception of your crazy ass state that you got to drive 2 days to get across. Well, a day, but still. When you get to West Texas, I doubt there's any West Texas and most of New Mexico. I doubt there's any Tesla chargers anywhere close. So people, I'd be careful cruising through there.
No, dude, no, man. They've got like 10 basically where you can make it from supercharger to supercharger.
Oh, I don't think so.
If you get off of the interstate, you're fucked up.
Last time I went out there, we got on from Roswell, and it was 140 miles to the first gas station. I was like, and then when we went back the other way, it was another 160 to the next one. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but that was in Roswell, dude. Roswell's not on
interstate. Oh, no. This was interstate right there where you come out of Roswell and you get on. So going either way, if we were going to Texas, it was 144 miles to the first gas station. If we were going back into New Mexico, it was 160 miles to the next gas station.
But hey, man, look, the technology's almost there. We're just like 1 or 2 generation of batteries.
Like I said, now, ladies and gentlemen, if you take Interstate 20, you can get across the country in your Tesla. There's enough places. Interstate 10, like I said, between Austin and Phoenix, I would be careful. I would really check because it's like the hydrogen highway. I actually like hydrogen better than electric, but it doesn't really matter.
I think hydrogen's a great solution too, but I mean, well, Europe and Japan are kind of like getting into hydrogen a little bit more. Japan more than anybody else, but.
Well, I mean, it pollutes.
You'd have to set up an entirely new competing infrastructure. I mean, you could convert some of the existing infrastructure, but.
So this kind of scared me a little bit. I've seen a plan from the California government, and the federal government is looking at it as well. And then Texas is actually looking at it as well. I think Florida is too. So they're going to offer grants for people who own gas stations to convert half their gas station to hydrogen. Well, since this actually originally came out, now they're asking, is there a way to do all three and have electrical charges? I'm thinking, wait a minute. We're going to have hydrogen and gasoline together. That's already a disaster waiting to happen. Y'all want to go add electricity to it? I'm thinking, wait a minute. But in all reality, what was that? Yeah, because y'all, oh God, I didn't think about it, Green. Canada probably wouldn't have no way to charge up unless you were like in Ontario somewhere, Vancouver.
No shit, trying to drive around Alberta and crap.
Yeah. Nice to see you, by the way. Actually, me and this woman here have been trying to talk for 2 weeks now. And we've been playing phone tag back and forth.
Well, man, it's like what province is that? Like Saskatchewan or some shit? Yukon? One of those two where it's like it's bigger than it's like the size of like from California all the way up to Washington State.
Well, let's see.
Like I got 35,000 people live there.
Yeah, I got a host in Niagara Falls and one in Ontario, and then we've got 2 in Thunder Bay, 2 in Vancouver. And whatever might be Saskatchewan, whatever that little island thing is on the East Coast, we got a host there as well. I thought you said Saskatchewan. I might have been getting the name wrong too. But,
no, you said on the East Coast? What?
Yeah, on the East Coast. It was on the East Coast. It's a little tiny island place. Oh, but she got great internet though. I don't know how the hell she got it. I wonder if she had the Starlink up there or some shit. Great internet.
Well,
But she said it's
Starlink
just
already
somewhere
works
island.
up there.
She said it's like a frozen little place too. I'll get it. I have it written down somewhere, but she hosts out of there, and then we got a host in South Korea now. We got a host in the UK. We got two in Australia and one in Brazil. And it's funny with the different accents, when you're listening to people talk, because I have a pretty good accent myself, so it's just a funny thing to listen to. Charles has got weird tales. He's out of the UK, does a great job of it. JJ's out of South Korea. He's got a whole kind of strange. He's not an American. He looks like an American, but he's a South Korean. Prince Edward. That might be it. It might be.
Yeah,
I'll have to
no,
check.
Prince Edward Island's on the it's up there like I think that's on the Vancouver side on the west coast.
Yeah, y'all gonna make me have to go find a map and see. It's funny, but it's interesting right now because all of our hosts used to only be out of the United States. What do you mean we got a Hawaiian host? Yeah, we have. Oh, speaking of that, shit, she's gonna kill me. She should have been on a half hour ago. No, no. What are you talking about? Okay, wait. You're not an American, are you? How do I know? Because you just said Hawaii was a country. Yeah, way back in the day, Hawaii was a country. Or
Actually, Hawaii should technically still be a country, but the white man straight up stole it from the indigenous people.
Yeah, they did. White man.
And that's the goddamn truth. Look up the history. Tell me I'm wrong.
Though, I got a friend of mine the other day. He's we'll just call him an islander. He's going on hating on the white man all day. I said, you do know without the white man, life would not be what it is today, right? I said, you do know that. I said, have you been to South America or Africa? Have you been to Europe and the United States? I'm just telling you, it would not be what it is today without the white man. I said, you better keep that in the back of your mind. I said, because a good chunk of what's here today is because of the white man. I'm not saying they're good. I'm not saying they ain't got their share of problems, because they do. But
no, I completely understand the whole fuck the white man thing, because like all you were talking about, Europe, South America, Southeast Asia, basically every place that isn't first world still. We're basically colonized and raped for fucking centuries by the goddamn white man.
Yeah, baby, we like doing it too. Woo-hoo, yeah, that's right.
I mean, come on, my people's over there in the Philippines, Spain.
Oh man, Filipinos love Americans. I already know what you're talking about. Filipinos love Americans. I got all kind of friends.
They do love Americans, but I mean, man, we were victims to that colonialization shit too. I mean, the Spaniards fucking raped us for 400 years.
Crystal, you mean you're talking about South America? Actually, no. In Venezuela, one of my he's a first cousin. He's a mayor of a mountain village, but it's an exclusive little village they got up there. But yeah, for somehow or another, they've been managing to stay out without getting wiped off the face of the planet, because it's bad down in Venezuela right now.
Dude, how'd you get family over there, like in South America? Was he like one of
I know my last name, they're all over down there. So I traced it back. So because my dad used to.
I got a stupid scenario, dude. I bet he was an Italian war criminal that fucking fled to South America with all the Germans and Hitler.
I ain't gonna rule none of that out.
I was just fucking with you,
dude. So I know my original ancestors came from Venice, but when they left Venice, they went to Scotland. That's where they stayed, and they stayed there for a long time. Enough that my DNA is not as much Italian as I thought it was going to be. So then they left there and went to South America. A bunch of them went to South America. My relatives actually left there and came straight to America in 1711. But a bunch of them went to South America, and then they started filtering back up. So if you look up my last name, it's all over Italy, and it's all over South America. But in the United States, there's really not that many of us. I think it's less than 50. Now, my surname is different because Montaldo is like 700 names. And the reason I found that out is when I found my what do you call it? Your family pendant? What the hell they call it? Anyway, the crest. No, the family crest. When I seen the family crest, it was from Montaldo, Montalbano, Montaldio, and Montadano. So we're all related. We all share a common ancestry. And then I found out there's 5 provinces that have my last name in Italy. I was like, well, wow, okay, that's kind of strange. And like Toronto, Montaldo. And then I got a friend there who has my last name, but we're not related, at least that we can't find. Man, Jason, he's got this pizzeria on top of this mountain there in Tuscany. Oh, man, I want to go eat there. So I don't know how the food is, but the view is fabulous, man. He says best pizza you'll ever eat.
Probably is.
Yeah, the Spanish and Portuguese did a lot of invasions back in the day. The Spanish, well, Jack, Spanish.
Man, it'll probably be like eating at Taco Bell all your life and eating some real Mexican food.
Crystal, Spanish people can be considered white or color because the Mediterranean. Same thing with Italians, really, because when you live in the Mediterranean, like my wife, if you ever met her, you think she's she's a woman of color. She's brown. But that's the Mediterranean. But she's Italian. And she's got a dark skin, but like her mom was lily white. You just never know when you're over in the Mediterranean what color you're gonna get. No, Chris, her butt was brown too, dude. I'm sorry. I don't know why you felt the need to ask me that question. I'll answer because you asked.
No, it wasn't no suntan.
It's no, yeah. When she got into tan, oh no, she got dark. Oh yeah, that's just the Mediterranean blood in her. Technically, yes, she would be considered a woman of color. Why would that be a problem? Yeah, well, I am a white boy. I can't deny that. You got to see me. But it's funny about that. Nobody thinks I'm white. It cracks me up how many people, when they listen to me speak, think that I'm black. I get people. Matter of fact, I don't know if Jason was at the one at X conference when what's her name showed up. She came to meet me. Original Paradox. I'm going to use a real name, but it's a screen name. Her and her two sisters came to meet me, and I still remember this was so funny, kind of embarrassing for her, but funny. So I'm standing there with about 6 people, and I'm at a conference giving a lecture, and I would just come down and I was answering questions. And I seen her come through the door because I knew what she looked like. So I heard her two sisters go, "But baby, he's white." I like to fell off the chair laughing. I was like, "Oh my God." And she come over, she said, "I said, maybe it's okay." She said, "But Joe, you don't know." She said, "You sound like one of them brothers, man." I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Hey, Killer Pup, what you doing?" It was just funny to me. But I'm from New Orleans, and New Orleans is a majority black city, and I work in the city all the time. I picked up a lot of colloquialism, and if that's what people want to think, I don't really have a problem with it. It's just the way it works out. Chris, I'm getting off in a few minutes, and I got to hop on with one of our other hosts for a little while. Yeah, I got a bunch of people that kiss him.
Hey, man,
Jason's
hey,
hunting
I
for
always
something.
thought you always sounded like a honky to me. I never questioned it.
It's funny, yeah, but you knew me beforehand, so that might be why. It's I don't know. It's a goofy thing. Wait, you want to? But that's not even a dumb thing. So when I start traveling, when I'm doing like touring, people will come up to me and go, "Where are you from? England?" Like, dude, I'm a coon ass. Where you get England out of that accent? Now, yeah, when I'm in Cali for a while, if I'm up north for a while, like when I'm in DC or in New York, my accents changes. They kind of mix together. But I don't know where to get the UK out of that. I'm kind of like, I'm not saying certain words. That's for sure. People,
man, it's all dark.
They
I'm
speak
all
a
out
different
here.
language in Britain. You know that, right? No, that is not English. I don't know. That's not American English for sure. I don't know what the hell that is. I don't
Look,
know,
man, I
man.
don't have any problem understanding that because between Doctor Who, Top Gear, and Red Dwarf, I understand everything.
Okay, you got an unofficial education on it, but so sometimes I'm like, what did you just say? Get the hell out of here with that. Speak English, people.
Well, man, then again, it's like I got a lot of like Asian cousins and stuff. That one of the things about the Philippines is a lot of people speak English, and it might not be what would be considered good English, but I am extremely good at like taking not exactly proper English that I'm used to and understanding it. That's my
Yeah.
superpower.
Yeah, guys, I know we got to get out of here. No, Michael's mad at me because I told him I was gonna mute him.
I
He
still
wouldn't shut
can't
up.
figure out. I still have to like concentrate really hard on Welsh though. But then again, I think even the Welsh do.
Some of them ones I speak to over in England, especially Scottish Irish, sometimes it's really really hard. It's like I was talking to a friend of mine over there, and sometimes I'm like, dude, take the rocks out of your mouth. He said, "You got an accent too." I said, "No, I know I do, dude, but come on." I said, "You're understandable sometimes." I know if I start talking fast, I am too.
A lot of people can't place where I'm from because I kind of grew up everywhere. I was born in Virginia, lived in Hawaii, stayed a while in California, ended up in Texas.
But guys and girls, we got to get out of here. I'm sure Kathleen's about to want to kill me now. And shows Quantum Leap. She is actually on the big island in Hawaii with her 1,000-pound crystal, which I love to death, by the way. This thing is massive. It escaped the shop somehow one time, rolled down the hill, put a dent in the side of her car.
Really?
Yeah,
How you?
I don't even want to know, Jason. Don't even ask me. You can see ladies, you can see the crystals in all of her pictures. Most of the time when she's on air, it's behind her. It's massive. She got 2 of them. One's 1,000, I think one's 700.
I thought it was kind of gaudy and a little bit tacky myself.
I don't know how a crystal escapes though. I mean, really? Did you have did one of the volcanoes rumble or something? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
How it
Just
escaped.
push it down the hill and then make up a story about it. maybe.
Maybe make an insurance claim. Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We don't want to get into trouble. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we got to go. I know we got into some of the news. We got to cross a lot of topics tonight. Oh no, y'all can mic the mic. He's mad at me. He'll get over it though. It's host stuff.
Man, you should have kept Mike on. I like him.
No, I didn't kick him off. He got mad because I told him I was going to mute him.
Oh, all right. I can't really. Yeah. That's kind of.
Then he wrote back to me. I said, "No, I only told you I was going to mute you because you wouldn't shut up." I was like, "Damn, come on, man." I let somebody else talk for a minute. But anyway, we got to go. Coming up next is Kathy Besky with Quantum Leap. I hope y'all enjoyed the show because we're running real late tonight. And Jason was with me tonight. We're hanging out, chit-chatting about all sorts of things. Check out the archive. It will be available on SoundCloud and everywhere else. I think we're on 8 or 10 video feeds now. I know there's 2 YouTubes, 4 Facebooks, Twitter, Parler, Twitch. Yeah, we're on Twitch. Yeah, we got a bunch of listeners there. Okay, maybe that many, but still. It's weird on Twitch. Every now and then we'll get like a group of people that come on, and then you like see one play or something. We do have the new YouTube page, which I know nobody's aware of yet, but it's UFOs, Guides, and Extraterrestrials. Go over there, like it, and subscribe. As I told y'all before, we got thrown off United Public Radio by YouTube, which we'll see how all that plays out in the end. But right now, I can't worry about it because there's other things going on. But you can find us on any of those venues. You can also find us on SoundCloud, iHeart, Podbean, PodAddict, Podcast, Paratopia. Just keep going. And as far as I know, we're on every podcast that exists these days. So. And again, if you see a podcast that we're not on as a network, write to me and I will have us added. And we just became an ambassador for, was it Verby? Yeah, don't ask me how that happened. Things like there's all kind of weirdness is going on right now. Well, people are so stuck at home, and still, even though the South is opening up, the North is still pent up, and about a good chunk of the East Coast is too. West Coast, they're just locked down.
The most good news I've heard is that the EU is considering letting vaccinated Americans come in during.
Yeah, summer. I did hear that. I did also hear.
I might go, dude. I mean, I'm really considering it.
Yeah, I did hear we put a ban on India from coming into the country for a while. I guess because their pandemic is out of control.
Yeah, most of the world has too.
Yeah, well, you can't blame them. We're just kind of getting under control in the country, and we want to get out and start playing again. And
well, man, India's got it rough. I mean, they've barely got a functioning infrastructure in the first place, and now they're just getting slammed to death.
Yeah, they are. It's tough. Well, Mike, you might be right in the future. India may become the first world power, but not anytime soon. They will pass China one day. They're going to pass them on population in the next 50 years. Financially,
look, man, if in the 80s and 90s, if China got their crap together over a couple of decades, India could experience the same boom.
Well, India is gonna find out. India is finding out because nowadays, where a lot of money was going to China in the 90s and even the early 2000s, the world, for some reason, has gotten a distaste in China between the formulas killing kids and the dog food killing babies, other bad products containing lead, and then now Wuhan. They're in a bad shape. I mean, Europe pretty much cut off trade with them. They have trains actually waiting to get into Europe that they said no.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say that this is just my experience of China in my lifetime. Do not underestimate them because in my lifetime, when I was a young child, China was a place that was basically starving to death, that was in such dire straits. No, that in such dire straits, everybody was killing their girl children. Now they basically manufacture everything.
They were. That's not as true now. They lost all their deals down in Brazil, so that's all going to change. They're not where they were 2 years ago, and their GDP's been turned downward. That had a lot to do with Trump, though. But still, they're in a bad place right now. They're actually in a worse place than we are financially. And they were overestimating their money for a long time. They were inflating it. And we found out that they were using those buildings. They got a bunch of empty buildings over there that they said were full. So there's been a lot of stuff that's come out about China. But Wuhan's
you got to give China a lot of credit because they have gotten good at making stuff. Yes, there is the cheapest crap, bottom of the barrel stuff, but a lot of the greatest, most coveted items with American brand names on them are built entirely in China out of China.
I can tell you, If it's something made in China, it gets in my house unknown because I don't buy anything that's made in China, anything. And almost none of my friends will either. Personally, I've been seeing a lot more stuff going back to Taiwan, stuff going back to Japan. The Wuhan thing really hurt them. And it's worse than that because the World Bank right now is trying to fend off major lawsuits against China. You got 36 countries wanting at least $2 trillion each from China. China can't afford that. And if the United States and Europe jumps on board, China's done.
Yeah, but good luck. I mean, good luck with ever even trying to collect on that.
But it's not about collecting it. It's about stopping it.
International courts are basically toothless.
But what I'm saying is this isn't about collecting the money. Nobody thinks they're going to get this money. This is about just stopping China in its tracks because China will have to stop and defend itself against this. And the more China talks, the more stuff comes out about them, the worse they look. China's just not in a good situation right now. I mean, they've got too many human rights issues. They've got all this stuff, and somebody said, well, you can't blame them for the virus. Yeah, you most certainly can, because if they would have told us in October, it wouldn't have been a big deal here. But they didn't. They waited till it was already in our country, spread before they said anything, 4 months after they found out. You can't get around that. They screwed everybody. And the world's pissed, and that's not going away. People in Europe think if they buy Chinese products, they're going to get COVID, which we both know is probably not true. Maybe there might be an inkling of a chance, but 2% maybe. But we'll give
true.
Them that.
I mean, there are actually people that are basically coming back and seriously reconsidering the whole Wuhan lab leak theory. But regardless of where this thing came from, okay, if it came from a bat or a pangolin, where did that bat come from? Or a pangolin from Africa? If it didn't come out of China, it would eventually come out of Africa. Actually, a documentary I watched, basically, like global poverty and hunger is basically what is driving a lot of these like cross species infections, like especially out of like a lot of the viruses and diseases that originate out of Africa. The bushmeat trade used to not be that big of a deal because they could eat fish or crops or something else.
Now that
they have to, a human's got to eat, and the bushmeat market, it's like basically starving people are eating everything.
Yeah,
if it didn't come out of China, it would eventually come out of somewhere else.
Yeah, well, China
and this will happen to us again. Hell, Joe, we'll probably see 2 or 3 of them during our lifetime.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if the countries take it seriously. We may have a less chance of getting it. But I agree with you. I don't see how we're going to get around it. But the China thing is interesting because we had 4 people in Wuhan when all this started, and we were getting. We still got the pictures. Matter of fact, we put them online, and YouTube didn't throw us off for it either, which was kind of strange. Neither did Facebook, which I found kind of strange. We had a couple hundred pictures where some reporters we had out there working were just driving around or walking around taking pictures. Well, the first set they sent me were just guys in white suits walking around with what looked to be like leaf blowers blowing this smoke all over everything. I don't know what it was. I'm sure it was just some kind of chemical to kill shit. They were spraying on everything.
Yeah, probably just a disinfectant.
Yeah, it was some kind of fog, disinfectant. I have no doubt that's what that was. So then the next set we got were them locking people's windows down. So they were actually welding the windows shut. They showed about 200 homes where this had happened. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Well, these were all homes where someone in the home had COVID. I don't know what they were calling it at the time. They weren't calling it that. So they did that, and they would come by and bring them food every day. So we had all of that on thing. The one that creeped me out the most was they showed they had 40. They had brought in 40 units for burning, disinfected stuff. They also had that hospital that had that front collapse. So they were getting rid of a lot of debris. They were also burning bodies. It wasn't a big thing. They were burning bodies. On a couple of occasions, though, they showed the body bag moving. Now, I know when people saw this, they instantly thought there was someone still alive in there. And I can't say there wasn't. But bodies do kick and move on and off for a day or two after they die.
Yeah.
It's shrinking nerves, impulses, and stuff. So I want you to just instantly think, because I know somebody else seen these pictures. I want you to instantly think now if it would have been like kicking hard or something. But the photos the videos were short, 10, 15 seconds. Whoever, I'm not going to give the people's names. It was 2 guys, 2 women, because I don't want to get hurt or anything. But they sent us a lot of video.
One thing that I found interesting about this whole COVID thing and like the different lockdowns and stuff is it basically stopped the flu in its fucking tracks. I mean, partial compliance with the distancing and the, all the things you do to minimize spread of a respiratory disease, which the flu is. basically
only thing that I
doing
know for sure that works is spraying your hands, because COVID really, when they talk about how you catch it, it's not so much from breathing; it's more from touching stuff. And it's not that you can't get it from breathing; it's just more from touching. And to be honest, I posted this video on YouTube and they made me take it down, but I got OSHA certified a long time ago on masks for my company. And the thing about it is the virus itself, in order to keep it from passing through a mask, you have to be wearing a respirator. Not an N95. An N95 is not going to stop it. Neither is any other mask. You
it'll
layer
stop
that
most
shit.
of it because it's not the virus isn't passing through the mask filtration on itself. It's riding on a fucking droplet of water vapor, and if that hits the mesh, it'll just get stuck in the mesh. I mean, you can't stop all of it, but
but this is what the video showed. So we put somebody in a room and we used 7 different masks. That's what we did. Filled it up with smoke. So when you took the mask off, this is what you seen. All through here, all through the nose was covered in that smoke, which tells you the mask was doing nothing at all. You were breathing it in and out. We tried it with all these masks, and none of the masks stopped that from happening. But what's worse, and it shows you how dumb people are.
But here's your flaw. Smoke is a much smaller particle than a droplet of water containing a virus.
Actually, the virus itself that passes through is 0.5 microns. You have to have a respirator.
Isn't just floating through space.
No, that's what they're talking about to catch it. But that's what it is. It's 0.5 microns. That's what what's got to be stopped. And there ain't no paper mask stopping 0.5 microns. That's bullshit. It ain't going to happen. And that's just an outright BS. They tell you what size it is, what size the virus is passing through the mask, and then you go look what the mask will stop, and you're like, well, why am I wearing this again? And it's worse though, because they talk about 6 feet distance. Well, in case y'all don't know this, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm standing in front of you for 10 minutes breathing. Heat rises, and you can clearly see this in the video. It creates a heat plume over you. When you walk up to replace that person, that heat plume drops down on top of your head. So I don't know why they're telling you 6 foot or anything else. The thing that stops this virus is using alcohol and keeping your hands and your face clean and not touching shit that you shouldn't be, and staying away from people as much as you can.
Yeah,
but
staying the fuck away from
if you think
you think
staying away 6 feet and then walking up to the guy who's been breathing in front of you for 10 minutes is stopping COVID, you've been fooled really bad. You don't take my word for it. Go look at what OSHA considers that would stop the virus, and it's nothing that we're wearing right now.
But you know what? I'm halfway vaccinated, but I'm still gonna wear a mask anyway, even when I am fully vaccinated.
Oh, I'm not even telling you not to wear the mask, people. I wear mine all the time.
I look at it exactly like this. If I walk into any place and there are people there, either employees or customers that are wearing masks out of courtesy, I'm gonna fucking wear one too, because it's sweat off of my balls.
Yeah, and it's not a big deal to wear a mask. I don't personally. I wear them all the time. Sometimes I do. Well, down here, don't have to anymore. But sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Even when I'm going and coming, like today, I had it on most of the day. But I got my Johnson & Johnson.
Joe, the only thing that's really changed with me personally since Texas basically went like mask free and like opened everything up is now if I make it all the way to the store and I realize I left it in the car, I'm probably just going to go in the store and not go back.
I'm the same. Well, that's what happens to me. If I got it in my hand when I get out, I'll wear it. If I get in the store and realize I ain't got it, I'm not going back. But I keep that spray alcohol in my car. Since it started, we keep all the guys do. We keep it in the car so we can do our hands every time we come in, because we do get our hands on a lot of nasty shit. And frankly, I don't mind wearing my mask when I'm in people's apartments if it makes them feel better, because people forget. In the beginning, the government, Fauci and the CDC and the WHO said masks would do you no good. They waited 3 months before they told you to start wearing masks, and that's because people were panicking. And that's when they came up with the new guidelines. But even then, Fauci said, here's the whole
thing about the mask, though, dude. If you cough through it, it is going to. It won't.
But that's what I was getting ready to say. That's what I was going to say.
But Fauci it will stop most of it.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. Fauci said in the beginning the mask will only need to be worn by people who had COVID, not by everybody else. They said it's to stop the spread of it. It wasn't for everybody to be breathing. That's something the media picked up on, and then the government just said, "Well, make the people feel better. Let's do that." And that's exactly what that was.
Then again, there are a lot of people who have had this and shown roughly no fucking symptoms at all that didn't even know they had it.
Yeah, but that's something I read about too. So when I got COVID, it put me down for 16 days. First 5 days, I didn't even get out of bed. Little Joe got it. He didn't get off the couch for 5 days, and we were both in good health. And if I wouldn't have been, I'd be dead now. Put my wife in a hospital for 11 days. So what we found out from the doctors is there are variants, And what we got was not the everyday COVID. He said, you had one of the much stronger varieties. He said, they tell you, oh, well, you get COVID, you can be asymptomatic. He said, yeah, because you got a very weak virus. He said, people forget. It depends on who the virus mutated from. So if you had a friend that had a really strong immune system to it and played the virus down and you got it, likely is you're not going to get as sick as someone else that had a much worse virus. They talked about this in great detail, and the CDC had to fess up on this. They were like, "Well, that's true. We got way more variants running today."
Hey, are we
than
still
what they
live, or
talked
did
about.
you ever let Kathy have a show?
No, no. I got to go. We're gonna drop her out in just a minute. I see she's texting me, but anyway, let me get this turned off, guys and girls. I want to thank everyone tuning in. United Public Radio on the Centralist. We'll be back next week. We got some science stuff coming on in the near future. We got Science and Beyond's coming on for a couple of shows in the near future, and we're catching up as far as one thing. You mean Biden? Let's see. Why do I call him the emperor? Let's see. More executive orders than any four of the if you combine the last 5 presidents, he's already written more executive orders in the first 6 weeks than they did in the first year. Yeah. Then he wants to let anybody in the country do away with voter IDs across the whole country. He wants to inform M21, which basically means anybody can vote as many times as they want, however they want.
No, Biden's not the emperor because Biden doesn't genuinely believe in anything.
Well, I agree with that. He don't believe in anything, but he's sure being pushed. He's sure pushing an agenda out there. And remember this, guys and girls. And it's always the same thing. It doesn't matter what party you follow. When you go too far to one way, you're going to give it to the other party. So Obama found out when he went way crazy in his first 2 years, he lost the House and the Senate, never got it back. He did manage to keep his presidency, but he lost everything else. And a presidency without a Senate and a House is really just somebody sitting around.
Look, I'm just going to tell everybody the truth about the way the world works. All those people bitching and whining for 8 years about how Obama was destroying the country and how it was the worst shit ever. Guess what? We made it through that.
The worst shit ever.
Same thing about all of you people crying about every day under Trump being the end of the fucking world. Yes, I believe he was an asshole, but we made it through it relatively okay. It's going to be the same thing with Biden. Chicken Little are calling it the end of the world.
This might be the first time.
Thinking he's the greatest thing that ever happened when our country is going to continue the same fucking general decline.
I think this might be the first time in my this might be the first time in my life that we're going to have 2 4-year presidents back to back. Well, I don't think Biden, even if Biden runs, I don't think he's going to win again. I got to be honest with you. First off, I don't think. Well, let's be honest about this. He got 85 million votes, and Trump got 75 million votes. That's 7 million more votes than that were registered. And wait, the Democrats said this, which I cracked me up. Oh, they just hadn't had time to register him yet. That's a fact. You can go. That was CNN and NBC and Fox carried that story. You can't get around it, unfortunately. They just said the system hadn't caught up yet because it was.
But you know what? There are a lot of new people voting.
Oh, I have no doubt about
that. How many people turn 18 years old every day?
I have no doubt that, but 7 million is a lot for any 1 year. I mean, average is like 1 million, so it was up a lot.
Have you ever? Well, why is anybody surprised with that? Every time, getting paperwork from the government is like getting a fucking root canal. It's slow and it takes forever.
It is. But anyway, guys, we got to go. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. You can find the archive. It'll be up. It's on the videos automatically. So all the YouTubes and Facebooks, everything else, it'll be there automatically. It'll be on SoundCloud as well and on Spreaker, and it will be posted to the rest as soon as I get around to Podbean and to Podcast Garden. They put them out. I got to say this one thing, guys, about the podcast system today. When we first started doing this way many moons ago, you had to physically log into each pod system and upload and all of this. Today, it doesn't work like that for me. SoundCloud goes out to 18 different podcast companies. Podbean goes out to 11. Spreaker goes out to 12 or 14. So those 3 alone put me on an additional 50 sites. And then everybody else, I'll go out to someone different. And then, of course, we're on Spotify as well if you want to catch us over there. Oh, well,
yeah, you should have seen it when Joe first set it up. I mean, he had like 6 Pentium 2s, each running 2 different streaming services.
Yes, it was a nightmare, man.
Using like 6,000 watts of power.
Remember that big 23-inch the cart monitor I had? Oh my God, y'all should have seen this thing. It weighed like 200 pounds, people. I'm not kidding. This thing was huge. But anyway, thanks for tuning in tonight. Kathy will be up in about 10 minutes, so please stay tuned, and we'll see y'all next week.